You're up and it's still dark. Kick back with a cup of joe. You know you've got friends waiting on 1620 The Zone. It's Happer and Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike. Listen on the radio stream or YouTube or podcast. Anytime it feels right. It's Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer.
All right, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It's Happer and Schaefer. You're on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. The Zone Radio Network, the Zone mobile app, YouTube, things of that nature. And this, oh man, did I say the Zone Radio Network? Whatever. Hi guys, Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Colbert with you. What's up?
Not a ton.
Good morning.
It's Tuesday.
It's Taco Tuesday.
It's Taco. It's the ultimate Taco Tuesday, some would say.
Oh, wow.
It is.
Because it's both Cinco de Mayo and LeBron's probably playing tonight.
A difficult.
Did you see the
Yeah,
thumbnail?
that's a triple Taco Tuesday. Yeah, did you see Joey's thumbnail?
I saw the Taco Tuesday with the LeBron screaming face.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's Cinco de Mayo. And it's just Tuesday in general. So that's a triple threat of Taco Tuesday tonight. If you don't have a taco tonight, then you are not festive.
You are not.
You are not festive.
You are not festive.
What if you have your taco earlier in the day?
You can have a taco at any point today, and
Okay.
you would be declared festive.
Right.
I have found that a difficulty.
People tweet your tacos at Connor Happer,
Yeah.
at Connor Happer, and he will let you know if you're festive or
I
not.
want to see your tacos.
Yep.
I want to see them. So, like, one thing that I've realized about this show as like a side effect, a difficulty at times, is we are like sort of responsible for remembering what today is.
We are the first line
Yeah.
of the
Yes.
yeah,
That's
that's true.
Because usually, like on my way into work, when I was doing the midday, I would have like consumed some sort of content already, and they would have given me a pretty good understanding of what today was. Like, oh yeah,
And now
I
you're
guess-
just driving in silence.
it's like, oh yeah, I guess today's signing day, or I'm listening to something from weeks
Especially-
ago or days
Especially
ago.
the February signing day, where it's no reason anyone should know.
Yeah, so we have to remind ourselves. So luckily, we have Joey. We
Yeah.
have some fail safes.
It's a schedule-oriented event.
that's for
We
sure.
have Joey. Feels like a hell of a fail-safe.
That's really important.
Hey, in a few weeks we'll have live sports back on, so at least we'll have something to look forward to.
It will be the World Cup.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Roland Garros, the French
Oh,
Open,
yes, the
tennis.
French Open would
The
be first.
French Open.
Tennis.
It would be first.
Okay, all right. Look at that.
Well, in the World Cup being in the U.S., there's not going to be any games at like
Yeah,
8:30.
he makes another point too that I don't love. We're gonna have to start throwing just baseball highlights on for like the first hour or something.
until
Okay.
Big T shows up on the TV.
Just do this is what I would watch.
We always
with-
go to Big T at 7.
with Hudson. Yeah, so the 6 a.m. hour, we can just throw the 45 minutes of baseball highlights on that they just,
We have that.
yeah,
we
on
could-
MLB TV.
So the MLB app.
So speaking of sports television, did you guys hear the news about a particular person returning to a particular sports take show?
I did see this news and then did not click on the link.
So it just buzzed in one ear and out the other. What's actually happening
So-
with
so-
Stephen A. and Skip?
So they're having a one-off show on First Take this Friday.
Because
That's
Skip
like-
isn't back to ESPN. He's just
It's just kind of a one-time thing.
That's like having a horse that
Be-
runs backwards
well,
at
it's
the
be-
Kentucky Derby.
I think it's because
is this a bigger deal than the Laguna Beach reunion?
Ooh,
probably.
Wow.
But anyway, I guess Skip Bayless's last appearance on ESPN was 10 years ago, which it's hard to believe for me because
they've been doing that crappy show for 10 years.
well, no, he left that show.
That's
10
what I'm
years
saying.
ago.
He's been doing his other crappy show for 10 years.
That is
about
remarkable.
Yes, about 7 years or something.
Oh,
because
that's right. He's not on TV
Yeah,
anymore.
he's on a podcast now.
It just
with,
goes to
Gilded
show
Arenas.
you, if you don't have to ever consume it, you can forget its existence real easily.
yeah.
And
No.
now Skip and his wife talks. They do a little pop culture podcast thing.
That's what America needs.
Dear Lord.
That man in pop culture. The last time I had any Skip Bayless was when I watched a Jerry Jones Cowboys thing in like August. That came out on Netflix.
I see a
and Skip was
straight-
all over that.
I see a straight tweet from his every once in a while.
I think I have him muted so that it doesn't get through.
Good job by you.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
smart.
care.
I don't see him with a high enough frequency to feel like muting is the appropriate response.
I think I did for a while. Now, like the thing is, Twitter's been around since 2000. For me, 2009.
Yeah.
So it's like early decisions have just had long held ramifications because once you're kind of on there, it's
I
sort of,
know.
I don't know of your existence.
I think the
on-
first person
online.
I followed is Jim Rome.
Okay.
It was probably 2010 or 11 is when I got Twitter. I followed Jim Rome immediately. I was like, oh, yeah. It probably like suggested it to me. I was like, okay, I followed Jim Rome. And I don't think I've ever stopped following Jim Rome. Jim Rome's never annoyed me on Twitter.
Yeah, I think mine probably would have been like a Bill Simmons right away.
Yeah.
And then like the various
And then just
daily
like
Nebraska people. Yeah.
ESPN,
Yep.
Huskers, you know.
I still
Just-
follow Mark Stein, and I haven't cared about the NBA in a long time, but I enjoyed him as a podcast guest.
Steinline.
He seems like a good person, so I'm like I'm in on Mark Stein.
Yeah, I'm down with
Even though I
Mark
don't
Stein.
consume any of the product that he puts together, I guess at this point.
Good topic starter for
That really is
for a
'cause
Tuesday. Who's the
he
first
was a
person
very
you followed?
early person that I followed.
Or yeah, like who's a sports media person that you really did pay attention to during that period of time, 15 or so years ago, that's just like gone from, existence at this point. Well, not like, either they're gone from
right.
actual
I know what you meant.
existence or gone from the takeosphere.
Who else?
Could be a lot. Could be a lot of people. Let's marinate on that a little bit.
I think you could check on your listed of people you follow. You could like scroll all the way to the bottom, see the very first person or thing.
That seems like hell.
Yeah, if you follow too many people.
I follow according to this, I follow 1,119 people. I'm not going to scroll through 1,119.
I follow
people.
493.
Oh,
And I gained a large following after my little release yesterday.
I basically
Good job.
always
You
try
did?
to-
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Conan O'Brien's at the very bottom.
there you go.
Conan O'Brien. Good one.
Look at that.
That aged well. Nice
Definitely
job.
did.
That was when did you first join Twitter?
Well, I think it was a few years prior because I had another Joey Colbert Twitter account I think I deleted. So this account started at like 2016 or 17, something like that. So it's been around for about a decade.
Okay. All right. By the way, I was able to scroll all the way down. You're right, Joey. It's not that bad. So I got a bunch of my friends on here. And then, yeah, Jim Rome, Scott Van Pelt, Aaron Andrews, Sean Callahan was next.
that.
Congratulations to Sean Callahan. And
14 years of following.
14 years of following Sean. Well, I think I joined Sean longer than that, or I joined Twitter earlier than that.
I thought you said in 2012 for some reason.
No, I think it was like 10 or 11
Okay.
potentially.
It says like right at the top of your bio
Oh,
when
okay.
you join.
Yeah, so Conan, then Stephen Colbert.
Oh, look at that. Joey Late Nights.
I follow Ronaldo for some reason. Then Aaron Rodgers is at 6.
This is
Then
perfect.
Right after Aaron Rodgers, it's Ice Cube. I don't know why.
That's
I
amazing.
don't know why. Then the Mean Streets Omaha. You
truly
remember that
Good
account?
one. Yeah.
Then
good
a bunch
one.
of local news and schools and there's LeBron and KD and Clay Matthews. Good old Clay Matthews.
Clay Matthews.
Oh, Chris.
That's
Move,
very
Chris,
of its time.
Chris Move is on there. He's that YouTuber that plays all those NBA 2K games.
This is great.
So
Schaefer, did you arrive at
Yeah.
the bottom?
Mark Stein would have been in the top 10 of people, or
Steinline.
first 10 of people, or at least
There's
still
George
following.
Lopez.
There's about 4 or 5 like friends from the Daily Nebraskan, most of whom are still journalists, but like Max Olson was on there. Bill Simmons was 2. Jason Stark was one that I forgot
Jason
about.
Stark.
That I still
That's been a
follow.
long time follow for me as
Yeah.
well.
Here's a random ass one. Andy Roddick.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm getting or why.
It
but
does feel like
I've told you about this. There was a time where I was very
I was going to
into
say,
tennis.
you feel like a person who's gone through seasons of your life where
Yeah.
you've really gotten into tennis.
We've hit hibernation for a long time, but I used to really care about tennis.
You'll
and
come
so
back.
He's on there.
Hey, there's live tennis in a few weeks.
That's true. People
Sue.
forget.
I've
Good
got
one.
Sue on here, and he tweets about real estate now, so that's exciting.
Mm.
Robin Washut. He was probably the first person, I guess, other than maybe Max Olson, that I follow that's still like a Nebraska media member
Okay.
at this point in time.
Coach Mack was pretty early. And then Creighton basketball, the Royals, the Storm. I started ripping off a bunch of team Twitter accounts.
Yeah.
Nick Baugh was pretty early. Yeah. Some of these have aged terrifically, actually. I'm proud of my 2011 self. I still have some of the same interests. Nice job by
just random Dirk Nowitzki follow. That
Okay.
definitely was from the early.
I probably have gone through twice or three times and weeded a lot of it out, you know?
Oh, I've definitely curated.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
like part of it was that I would be following hundreds of recruits.
Exactly.
You
got to get those
I'm
guys
dumping
out of
those
there.
as quickly as I could.
I can't believe you guys even follow those guys.
Well, that's part of the job. Is it a fun part of the job?
No.
Absolutely not.
That's just so you can slide in the DMs, right?
I guess, yeah, basically. I mean, you don't even need to anymore. So the way that it's set up now with Elon's Twitter, like if
Elon's Twitter is horrific.
you didn't even have to follow.
Yeah.
So there's that, which I guess is maybe better. Maybe.
Did you know Elon
worse.
took away? We're having an 11-minute discussion about Twitter to start the show today.
I don't see why we wouldn't.
So
It's Taco Tuesday.
You're welcome.
did you see that they took, this is like a month and a half ago now, they made TweetDeck, the whole reason I got I got the
Verified.
verification thing was because I wanted to have TweetDeck for moments exactly like this during the show. And then one day I logged on and it was like TweetDeck is only for premium plus pro whatever. It's like there's another level now of subscription where you have to go to, and I'm not going any higher than what I'm at right now. I can't believe I'm even at where I'm at. And then they took away Tweet. It was just gone. It was just gone one day.
Yeah,
And
I
now
mean,
my life is different.
Suddenly disappeared.
Yeah. Very
I
sad.
I had TweetDeck for a long time, and then it went away, and I was like, I'm just going to make this transition because it feels like this is going to be super annoying to have to figure out every time they shift something. And he very much wanted to get rid of TweetDeck because of the scraping mechanism of it, and it caused issues on their back end. Nobody cares.
Loser.
Right. And
They're terrible.
He can monetize it, so why wouldn't he?
Yeah, of course. A lot of good follows from 10-15 years ago on my Twitter account. So send us your favorite early Twitter follows, and remember, send us your tacos today. I want to see those tacos on the ultimate Taco Tuesday. LeBron plays a playoff game tonight. It's Taco Tuesday, and it's Cinco de Mayo. Maybe you could enjoy a taco at the Creighton baseball game tonight. A cold taco. It's going to be cold. The tacos will be warm, but you might be cold.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's kind of it's chilly.
Well, I think
Yesterday was awesome.
Get a soft shell taco. I think those could serve as hand warmers, kind of like the Runzas at the Nebraska football
There
game.
you go, Cinco de Mayo hand warmers.
Yesterday was one of those days that you talked about previously where it's like you get 2 of the 3 elements.
Yeah.
And I'm out for a walk, and it's just 40-mile-an-hour wind.
I received that text. Yes.
Super, super fun. You're just like, oh, this is great. I'm going uphill into the wind.
Yeah,
I love my life.
I continue to get concerned about my stuff blowing away on my dirt lawn.
Yeah.
But maybe one day we'll have not a dirt lawn,
And maybe even a fence to keep the stuff inside.
Maybe, but not until the dirt lawn stops, which may never happen. Maybe if I put public pressure on the people, it will get back to them because nobody really seems to know.
I'm sure Josh Otson's got some names.
Do you think I should publicly call if I find out who's responsible for this? Do you think I should publicly call them out on this radio show?
Not only do I think you should do that, I would also love to be a part of it because it doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. So I love to join a cause.
I mean,
in which I have absolutely nothing at stake.
What's the worst thing that could happen?
For either of us?
No, for me. For you, it's literally nothing.
Spite just put you at the end of the list.
I don't know if I want to risk that.
I mean, it goes against what you're hoping for. If you're hoping to expedite the process and it doesn't work, then you're getting the opposite.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to consult you, like you said, Joey. I'll have to consult Josh and see how he goes about publicly shaming things. There's an appropriate way to do it, and Josh always does it perfectly. So
That's his department.
yeah, it really is.
Oh, okay.
It really
That's good to know. I'm learning things here.
Today on the show, Mitch Sherman is going to join us coming up at 8:30. Jacob Padilla texted me last night. He said he is not feeling very well. And so I said, you know what, Jacob, let's just not push it, okay? And he was like, wow, thank you. What a great idea.
Get your sleep.
But then he said, I'll let you know. I'll let you know in the morning. So let's just plan on no Jacob Padilla today. So that is our lineup with just Mitch coming up at 8:30 this morning. Also, we will have our power rankings with tiers.
What are we ranking?
Great question, Joey. We are ranking places that we would like to visit.
So like cities or countries or
That was the problem for me. I
Same.
listed countries, and then I have like a North American one where it's just like all cities. So
countries would be easy for me for the graphic, just because then I could get the shape on the graphic.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I think you're gonna find that I'm a little bit more all over the board too. I have some interesting combinations of places that are on the same tier together, which I'm fascinated to discuss. So we also have to we don't have to establish this, but as we go on throughout the segment, we will find out where we have been, because the whole point is places we want to go
that we haven't been,
that we have not been.
Right.
So we will dive into that very convoluted topic at 7:30 this morning. That is our lineup. We'd like to hear from you all. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at us at @HappenSchafe, at Connor Happer, at Joey Warcola on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Shout out to Liquid Trucking. You can email Connor, Mike, Joey at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers today. Like Nathan, who says, happy Cinco de Mayo, a.k.a. my cat's 15th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, kitty cat.
Early Friday shout out to Nathan's cat.
Nathan, what's your cat's name? I'd like to hear what the cat's name is.
Do you have any guess?
So we can give it a
Roscoe.
Great cat name, Joey. Tremendous.
The name of a dog in a show that I'm watching right now. That's quite the poll.
I was thinking something way more on the nose, like something that had to do with like meows and purrs or something like that. Or you could go with the classic like Mr. Meow.
Mr. Meow.
Mr. Meow. That'd be
Mr. Miyagi.
That's
if
my
you had
official
a pet,
guess.
would you name it Mr. something?
Probably. Almost for sure at this
Cat's
point.
name is Dabby.
Dabby. Dabby the cat.
Okay.
Happy birthday,
Shout
Dabby.
out Dabby.
just get a text that says LaClaw James.
Claude James. All right. Get behind that.
That's good.
Yep, you'd like Taco Tuesday. All right, so that is the setup today. I have some topics. I am particularly interested to bounce one topic off of you today, Mike Schaefer. Have you read this?
I saw, and then I was like, I don't know. So I saw the header.
Does it make sense to you?
No. So what I did was I saw the header and was like, I don't want to know any more of what's underneath of it, and so that way I'm just going in completely cold.
All right, good.
That's
good. They don't get a chance to verbally actually explain it to you,
and I think that makes more sense.
Yes.
A lot of times when you do stuff like this and there's like a topic and then you have more written underneath, I assume it's for you. So like I'll just get a sense of what the topic is and then can sort of form wherever I want to go.
I actually don't have a take on this one.
Okay.
I have.
Is it a take type topic or is it a talk out type topic?
It's a talk it out. It's
Okay.
a question, and it's more of like I'm curious to see where your brain goes with this, that kind of thing.
I am also curious.
So
Mostly about all of them.
We will discuss that. We have some more just off-season type of football topics today. Which assistant is under the most pressure? The Donovan Raiola Memorial topic of the spring.
Of this, I sort of also meant to add like people that have been around a bit, because obviously,
you can't do.
I don't know that anyone has a strong opinion on Tyler Yelk right now, or
I most certainly do not.
I can't even think of his name. It's Jamar Brown. Who's the defensive line coach? Corey Brown. And I always
It's on the
call
board,
him
Schaefer.
Corey Brown.
It's on the board.
Read the board.
There it is. Roy Manning.
That's a guy.
Yeah. So those are ones that you probably don't have to
The
bring
staff is more new than.
No, it's not.
we think about. You know,
well, yeah. There's on the.
I forgot about those
side.
new guys. I forgot about Corey Brown, the defensive line coach, and Roy Manning, the edge coach.
Yep.
And the other one that you mentioned as well. Yeah,
those
Mr.
are the new
Yelks.
ones.
And then obviously you have Jeep and Lonnie.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then you have
you have your special teams, but I said non-coordinators.
Yeah, everybody else is. So the only guys that are that were here last year are Glenn Thomas, Barthel, DeKeel, Shorts, Satterfield, Dvorak,
Williams,
Addison Williams. Yes. And the only guys that are on the original staff are EJ Barthel, Marcus Satterfield, but although he's not in a different position, or he's in a different position, and Dvorak. Wow. Things have changed.
Things have changed.
We'll discuss that a little bit as we go on throughout the show. Mike writes in, "Good morning. I watched Jack hit a dong while getting a Jack bobblehead. Go Royals." Mike was at the game last night.
Yeah, they was it bobblehead night? I believe
It was.
Then he added to their already 2-run lead to a 3-run lead, which was then with completely and utterly insurmountable.
He's taking some good swings. I found it funny. They have the new sideline reporter Bridget interviewing people after the game occasionally. Jack is a monster. I have been dwarfed by Jack Caglione before, but they found it very difficult to keep them both in frame after the game.
Unbelievable.
It was very, very funny.
Unbelievable.
It was just like her head and then all of Jack's body.
Every time, like the Yankees Astros playoff series, when like Judge is at second base and it's Altuve Judge,
yeah,
and they play the same sport,
it's so funny,
and they're both like legitimately great in their
like
what
Judge
it is that they did.
Judge is on top of the base,
right?
And Altuve,
he's even taller.
Yeah, he's even taller.
Right.
It's such a great picture.
It really is.
Very good picture. By the way, for the 402, Connor, Chuck Knobloch is a good cat name. That sounds like an incredible cat name. I would name a cat Chuck Knobloch.
Just don't want it to get, what is it, the Steve Sachs disease or whatever.
Don't get the yips.
Steve Blast disease.
Just
which is it?
If there was ever a ground ball to second base, you just have to make sure that he could run it over to first in a cat way, because Chuck Knobloch was not able to throw the ball to first base because he was either terrible or he had the yips.
They're terrible.
Yeah, it could have been one or the other. Gus Mohawk asks, have you ever named an animal after an athlete? My uncle had a cat named Sweetness after Walter Payton. That's a great idea.
I have not at this point.
I might name my pet when I never have one.
What would be a name for
a dog after a baseball pitch? Is that the same thing?
No, but that was a great dog name.
Well, thank you.
Slider is a great
dog.
What would be a name for Aaron Rodgers type cat?
Good one.
An Aaron Rodgers type cat?
Just naming after something Aaron Rodgers would do.
Yeah, you could do discount double check.
Nah, that's not a good one. It has to
discount double check.
It has to be modern day though.
No, I like
the
ayahuasca. Discount. Yeah. Come here, ayahuasca.
I was just thinking.
Come here, ayahuasca.
Yeah. I think it'd just be funny if you named the cat Aaron Rodgers. Come here, Aaron Rodgers. That's a kind of a funny bit that is taken off a little bit, giving the cat.
What if you name the cat after his family that doesn't have anything to do with them anymore? Because cats are famously just like don't want to spend time.
Come here, Olivia Munn. You know,
Danica. Where are you, Danica?
You name your cat Olivia Munn. I have a lot of questions. A lot of questions.
Just a lot of
ideas. Mysterious, because Rodgers has a mysterious.
Well, it would definitely be a conversation starter. That's for sure. If you had a cat named Olivia,
no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I named my cat Anthony Barr.
Maybe when you grow old and get a young cat, you'll name it Jordan.
Oh, there you go.
Your replacement cat. Oh, that would be amazing. You have a pet and you name him after the first one, and then you have to have the replacement one.
We are about due for a good Belichick Jordan story as well.
They were all over the Derby.
Yeah, they were at the Derby.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about how Belichick dresses nicely now. And
I do not remember.
One of the Fox Sports radio shows spent like 5 minutes. I was telling you how I was listening to more of our
lead-in,
our colleagues.
Definitely our colleagues.
I think of LeVar.
Brady Quinn and LeVar Arrington, our colleagues.
I will say this: LeVar is actually pretty good on.
No, I think that show's actually okay. Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed that. I don't know who it was. Somebody in Bucky Brooks is a little bit harder to get into. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
LeVar and TJ Hushmanzada, and it was Plaxico Burris.
Okay.
Yeah. They had a really good discussion on Brendan Sorsby.
I hopped in the
I was
car.
like, I got to go inside now, but I kind of want to keep listening to this.
I hopped in the car last night. It was whoever replaced Chris Broussard on The Odd Couple,
Okay.
and it was Rob Parker and that guy. And
I heard
they were just talking about John Sterling for a while.
Man, I heard the promo for that, and it's Rob Parker, and then whoever the other guy was,
Not Chris Broussard anymore.
went off on Warren Buffett for having an opinion about gambling.
Oh wow!
And Warren Buffett's opinion about gambling was it just makes rich people richer, and so he feels bad for the people caught in this endless cycle of it. And the guy just started yelling about it. He's like, "You have enough money. You don't need to talk about this."
Seems like a tepid take,
It's
honestly.
Like, you're kind of playing right into what he was saying.
I think you might be. You might be. All right, let's take a break here. We will come back. Yeah, if you'd like to call or text in the show, we'd love to hear from you guys. 402-951-1620. We're off on a tremendous start on this Tuesday, and Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Happer and Schaefer with you on this Tuesday, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Yesterday, we lost John Sterling, who is the longtime voice of the New York Yankees on the radio, who was quite the character. And as they always say, a one of one. I saw a story yesterday that I think Aaron Boone actually talked about this, and the Yankees did a really good job, by the way, of honoring Sterling last night. They played the Yankees win right after they won, and then they went right into New York, and they did, Michael Kay and Susan Waldman did a whole bunch of tributes and stuff like that. Michael Kay called a Judge home run, basically as if he was John Sterling. They did a really nice job. So there was this story that Aaron Boone, I think, relayed yesterday, and the original call of Aaron Boone's 2003 walk-off home run in Game 7 in extra innings to send the Yankees to the World Series, the Aaron Bleepin' Boone home run. So that was in the 10th inning, an inning that belonged at the time on the radio to Charlie Steiner. Charlie Steiner called it. It's an infamous call, and I'm an idiot for realizing this just now. I should have gotten the call. It's a great call. It's a great call. The Yankees are going to the World Series, and he gets mobbed at the plate and all his stuff. And then, so Sterling had a difficult time not being at the center of attention. He was the guy, and he wanted to be the guy. And so it killed him to not be the guy to have that home run call. And so when he crossed home plate, John Sterling, who was sitting right next to Charlie Steiner, who had the call and had a microphone in front of his face, it just wasn't his inning because they switch off in baseball play-by-play innings, and it was the 10th. He just immediately fired into his thing. The Yankees win! The Yankees win! And Charlie Steiner joined him, and they did it in unison.
Oh wow, harmonious.
And it was harmonious, which it ended up being really good, and it was really actually pretty organic. But that I saw that story going around. And then Aaron Boone said that they went back, or Sterling went back years later or months later, whatever it might have been, and he taped his version of the call of the Aaron Boone home run. Boone said yesterday, he said, when Aaron Boone was at ESPN, John Sterling re-recorded Boone's 2003 pennant-winning home run. The original radio call, of course, belonged to Charlie Steiner. Quote from Boone, in all honesty, I don't know where the tape is now, I'm sad to say. But
oh man,
if it exists, it is certain to be found.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
That's amazing.
Great. It's a great John Sterling story who sadly passed yesterday. But those are most of the stories that I was hearing around the baseball world yesterday of he wanted to be in the middle of things. The other thing I saw yesterday, a lot of, as far as the tributes were concerned, is people leaving him, or him leaving people voicemails. Which, imagine having a voicemail from John Sterling. I mean, that'd be one of the coolest things ever.
There was an attempt, just a few attempts, business-wise, pre-Cameo, of doing things like this.
Yes.
Because I remember getting a call from somebody early in 2012, and they're like, hey, can you hook me up with these Nebraska people? I'm doing this business. And basically it was so you could have Tommy Frazier call and leave a voicemail and wish a happy birthday or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And someone would pay him, give him the number to then call and do that. So I'm sure there was that for a guy with that kind of voice and that sort of notoriety with the voice.
I don't, maybe there was.
Well,
but from what I saw, he was just leaving people voicemails.
Well, yeah, it's probably just friends and family or whatever.
So Zach Gelb, who did, maybe still does, a national sports radio show. I think he changed affiliations several months ago now. But, he called him a decade or so ago and tried to get him on the show. He didn't answer. And he'll leave this, it's a very old man voicemail of like, hey, Zach, it's 11 a.m. on Tuesday. I'm John Sterling
Oh my
calling.
gosh, he puts the number or like the time
Yes,
in there.
yes.
Wow.
Like everyone, like I have your number. The cell phone. I know John Sterling is calling me because it says John Sterling left a voicemail on my phone. Also, I know what time it is because my phone also gives me that information. But he leaves the time and he's like, yeah, give me a call back and we'll try and get it straightened out. And he says it in a very perfect announcer voice and all those things.
Amazing.
That would just be like announcers saying nonchalant things, famous announcers saying nonchalant things and everyday things is a great like side avenue of content that I am incredibly interested in.
I want so badly the most mundane Tom Hamilton voicemail call.
Yes, you do.
And it would just be amazing.
Or just Tom Hamilton describing any
exactly
mundane activity, something that happens throughout a day.
I genuinely think one of my favorite relationships that I have with sports is that this absolute love that I have for the Cleveland radio broadcaster, because 1 year in college, I didn't have MLB TV. I did game day audio.
Yeah.
Had never listened to Tom Hamilton before. And then immediately was just taken by his voice, his calls. And, like he's been doing it for a long time. He's now in the Baseball Hall of Fame for what he's been doing. And it's just like the relation, like I will, if there's big moments, Gavin Williams, the last start out was 7 innings into a no-hitter.
That's right. Yeah.
And I happened to be mowing as this was going on.
Like, I got to see
I'm done mowing.
saying.
And it's like, I just went and sat on the porch. It's like, I'm not going to go watch the game now. Like I've committed to the radio version of this entirely.
It's a special thing. And most of the radio broadcasters, I shouldn't say most anymore, but we are getting through a generation of radio broadcasters who did that job for their same team for multiple decades.
Right.
Many decades. And we're talking about older gentlemen at this point. And there's not very many of them left. And I feel like that is in itself something that is gonna go away. Like you said, we always go to the radio call because you have the special and these guys know the team better than anybody and they feel like they're a part of it and all those different things. But the older guys who have been doing it for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years in some cases, like those are the guys you absolutely have to hear,
right?
Regardless of like the quality of anything or anything like that. Like Denny Matthews could say anything he wants, right? Like it doesn't matter. I still want to hear what Denny has to say.
I want a World Series for myself, obviously, but I want it as much for like Tom Hamilton to get to call it, and then for me to get to live in that call,
yes,
as anything in the world.
And,
like, that is
whatever he
my
says,
sports wish. Like that is as high as anything I think that I have.
And whatever he says, it would be perfect.
Yeah,
it wouldn't actually matter what he said.
I think that's why it meant so much for everybody that's been involved with Nebraska basketball with Kent Pavelka. He's doing it a long time. It's like if they do this, you want him to do it while he's on the call because he's sat through all of those losses. He's been through, however many bad, horrible seasons. But even worse, all of the ones where you think the tide is finally going to turn, and then it
ended up being perfect,
right? And then naturally he nails
it. Yeah.
And it's something that I'm sure, having talked to him that week, he was sitting with, and then talking to him the week after, he like when I talked to him down in Houston, he sounded like a man that was unburdened in a way that like
he was letting it go at that point.
I don't know that he got to enjoy the Troy. Like I know that he did. But there was such an element of he felt like he needed to nail that too. And he didn't know if he did or not. It's like, no, people were very happy with that.
Yeah.
And
I'll be honest with you. I thought the round of 32 game was obviously more poignant.
Because you weren't sitting there for 20 minutes waiting for it to happen. Like
right.
You have the Tyler Tanner, like it goes out and then it's like he's a
like when I think of Kent calls from that run, it's going to be Watch and Dream, which was after the round of 32 game, not the round of 64 game, which and that's the other thing about this. It's all like memories and stuff that just kind of floats around and you can sort of just assign things to moments. When I made everybody watch the Royals wildcard game in the TikTok house last year, I was like wildly misremembering things in the order in which they happened. I've watched that game 14 times.
I mean, your brain just assigns it.
Yep.
They were talking about the Mandela effect last week, and I had the same exact experience that Josh Peterson did with someone's name, and I still refuse to believe that it was Brian Russell and not Byron Russell.
Yeah, I know. Does all of America have that? Because I saw that too, and I was like,
I asked a lot of people around the same age as Josh and I, and it was very similar.
Yeah.
And I think it's
Weird.
John's argument, which was a good one, is that your brain doesn't spell Brian with an O.
Correct.
So
I think that's
to
it.
be Byron.
I think it's
because that's the
definitely
only
it.
thing that makes sense. But if you just do like a Google search or a Twitter search, there's a lot of Byron Russell people out there.
No doubt.
So
there's
a lot of Mandela effect for that one.
Yeah. So another one from that generation of old, really, really good voice. You had to have a great voice to be a broadcaster.
That's the thing about all
era.
of those people that you're talking about. It's like that voice, and then it becomes synonymous.
Yeah.
The soundtrack of the summer for a lot of people. It's sad to lose those things.
Even when he got hit by a foul ball a couple of years ago. Do you remember? That was the one that was going around yesterday. We might have it somewhere in the system, but he goes a pop foul, and then it you could hear the clank like it hits. It goes, ow! It hit me. Like this, just tremendous. Just great stuff. And I am glad that we do like publicize the radio calls of things these days. It's been great because I don't want those things to get lost.
We do have a John Sterling call, but it's when he botched a home run call.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Play that real quick. I remember this one. He was like a long drive, and then he caught it. He realized it like 15 seconds later. All right, yeah, go ahead.
Swung on. There goes deep left. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. Aaron Judge hits his. No, he caught it. Are you kidding me? He did catch it.
Susan's got to help him. He's like, yeah, Johnny caught it. Yeah, he caught it. He indeed caught it.
That they have a unique, like the radio calls out of New York is super unique.
Oh yeah,
Susan, and
they sound very, very, very New York Yankees.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. All right, let's take a break. We will come back right at the hour after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, we're going to spring this on you guys here. Got a few minutes here. We got some questions about Joey's schedule release. Are we ready to ask some questions about Joey's schedule? Joey, what have you got? I saw it made some pretty good.
Yeah, made some good traction on Twitter. That's for sure.
Which is, by the way, not your goal. You do it for the love of the game.
I just do it for the love of the game. But I think out of the years I've been posting this on my account, this is the most traction I got, and I gained like 50 followers.
Look at that.
So this guy does NFL mock schedules every year.
Yeah,
if you are interested,
pretty good.
I'll tell you what, it is a content graveyard out there right now.
It is.
There's not much going on, especially I would think for NFL teams. Now, I would imagine if I was a radio host in another market and I looked at Joey's schedule prediction and I said, this idiot's got us playing the Browns in week 14. I don't think that's going to be right. I would use this as content.
I would look at it basically like, okay, let's just use this as content, run through it and be like, do we like this schedule as it's laid out? Is this what we would want?
I enjoy reading through the comments on my schedule, and I said on my post, don't get too bent out of shape.
Yeah, I
over
did
it.
laugh at that.
It's a schedule. It's a prediction.
The thing that
It's for fun.
You have this graphic, and I don't know if you can put it up on the StreamYard or whatever, where you have it color coded. So that way, like, you have the color for like the bye week.
I love the
color
grid
for the Thursday night.
Oh, the
game.
grid. Yeah, I could probably get
I'm
it
sure
on
you have a
there.
color for like a London game.
Yeah, that's orange. That is orange.
Yeah, you have the entire key down.
Yeah, it's at the very bottom.
Here, I'll get the grid up there. I could put it up there in like 2 seconds. But yes, so I was reading through the comments. Oops, sorry, I put the Taco Tuesday LeBron guy up there. Let's go to right here. Here's Joey's grid schedule. Look at this. One man did this over how long of a period of time?
It took me about 3 weeks, and then the Monday night game in Mexico City, I have Miami and San Francisco, but I originally had it the week after Thanksgiving, but then they announced it was going to take place the week before. So this was announced after I finished it. So I had to redo that second half of the schedule just to accommodate that. And I somehow made it work.
So you get a lot of questions in here, and one of the most common ones is like, okay, so you do this every year. Do you get any of them right? And
it's a very small percentage. There was 1 year where I was about 25% accurate on placement.
The thing is, if you're off by like
it just
a week,
it takes like a quarter
so
of
much.
it. Yeah.
That's
So when you get
pretty
20% accurate, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Given that, again, if you're off, it's just going to derail.
Last year, I was pretty accurate with the AFC South teams. I found that I got more of those teams, their schedule more correct. I think 33% on almost all of those teams.
So do you like build the standalones and then kind of build off of that, or because that's kind of how I think I would do it. I would place in all the standalones, the Thanksgivings, the Christmases, so the Sunday night footballs, whatever, and then base it off of that.
No, basically what I do, because I tried doing that. I tried placing games I want them to be played. I learned that that's not going to work. You're just going to have to try to gradually get to that particular week, and if it works out, it's going to be in your favor.
Okay,
because I try the Christmas games. I was hoping to get Packers and Bears, but that did not work out, so I had it the week after. But the first game I would like to throw in on the schedule is obviously the season opener, and then obviously Thanksgiving's right after. Detroit and Dallas are easy because they host the games, so I'll just go on that, and then I'll schedule the international games, and then I'll just fill out the rest of the schedule.
Tremendous.
What leads you with your guesses for the Thanksgiving game? Is there, because there's sometimes stuff that guides us. I mean, obviously, the Cowboys and the Lions are going to be at home, but then after that,
I like to schedule good matchups. Like I scheduled for the Lions. I got the Packers on there again, even though that was last year. That might be an AFC East team joining in the fun. Then the Cowboys playing the Commanders. I think Cowboys usually play a division team every other year, so I think they're going to play a division team.
You
would think that the longer you do this, the more you can like pick some stuff up.
I look at history of when games are played. That's how I base my schedule.
Last question: When does the actual schedule come?
Should be in about 10 days, but it might be delayed for another week.
All right, so check out at Joey Warcola to check out Joey's schedule prediction, which is
schedules?
a labor of love.
Some people call it a cry for help.
How could it be anything else? We will take a break. 7 o'clock hour coming up next on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. Bananas and Bangers. What's your walk-up song? Let us know, and you can win a 4-pack of sweet tickets to see the Bananas play at Memorial Stadium on June 13th, $200, and a free duct cleaning, which is a $900 value from McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air. Enter online. Tell us your walk-up song. I'm sure by now I saw there was a new list yesterday, but I didn't look at the song.
Yeah, it's just adding to the playlist.
Is Your Love by the Outfield on there yet?
I could
either way, either it's
look.
on there and you're not allowed to use it, or you're not allowed to use it, and I'm just making that proclamation right now. Too mainstream.
No, I'm not seeing it in there.
I used to like that song.
I'm surprised the boys are back in town are not on this list as well.
Bruns clearly hasn't called it.
Bruns clearly has not put in his recommendation.
What a poor job by him.
For Bananas and Bangers.
Do we have any Sister Christian on there?
Good one.
No, it's not
Night
on
Ranger.
there.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
You want me to go through the list we got?
Yeah,
so
I would
far?
actually.
Yeah, I do. I'll say it.
Okay, so we have Crazy Train by Ozzy, Enter Sandman by Metallica,
Very common.
Hollaback Girl by Gwen Stefani,
Okay.
Good one.
Lose Yourself by Eminem,
Okay.
These Boots Are Made for Walking by Nancy Sinatra,
Now we're talking.
Thunderstruck by AC/DC, Thumping by
Tub Thumping.
Okay.
Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
Yep. The Distance by Cake,
Nice.
Blind by Korn, and Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins.
I don't know the distance by Cake. That one
He's going the distance.
Okay, yeah. No,
He's going for speed.
And
Yeah.
there's
I haven't heard that in a long time.
It's a good
there's
one.
5 blank spots remaining.
Oh, so get yours in right now. I guess you could still pick Your Love by the Outfield, even though I won't encourage it.
But you will encourage Sister Christian.
But I definitely will encourage Sister Christian. Okay, Schaefer, I have a question for you. I genuinely don't know where this is going to end up.
I am fascinated because I don't know where we're going other than you have this question.
This could be a 5-minute topic, or
We're taking it 20.
or something that drives on for weeks and months. I don't know.
I love this.
I'm not sure. All right. So I was listening to, by the way, thank you, Schick and Nick, a great local podcast. I was listening to them yesterday, and every once in a while, and they mentioned this, they have to throw in a couple of minutes of Husker talk just to like keep their local podcast card
It's engaged.
And Matt said something about, like, they were talking about Rule, like the topic of the week, and you know, like, what is it with him and where is the fan base at? And there's been like this really, you know, people are trying to figure out, okay, where does it actually stand?
This is a bizarre start to May where we got to last Friday. That's kind of how I feel.
And I don't know that we have an answer. It's very unclear how anyone feels about you know, or like the general public feels about it, whatever it might be. And you know, we were talking about if Rule was polarizing and all these different things, like as a personality. Schick said something about how Rule would have been the perfect coach right after Bo got fired. And I thought, I don't know that that's wrong, and then I thought, is Matt Rule the right coach at the wrong time? And then I just started to go down all these different avenues, and I decided to open it all the way up. So here's my question to you. If you could use any of the post-Osborne coaches,
Solich, Callahan, Pelini, Riley, Frost, Rule,
place them in the first year of any of those coaches' spots, are there any situations that in there where it works out better for either the coach or the time period of Nebraska football in which they are being placed into? For example, if you put in Frost right after, like the most desirable spot is right after Bo, probably, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think there's probably some debate that's up. Maybe the most desirable spot is right after Callahan.
Yeah, sorry, I misheard that. It's right after Callahan. It's definitely not after Bo.
Would we all agree that the least desirable spot is the least desirable first year out of all of the first years? Rule's first year, or is it Frost's first year?
Is it Rule's first year or is it Frost's first
year? Which program do you less want to take over?
Would it have been Callahan's first year? Could he be the bookend of somehow both of these?
Interesting.
Because one, you're stepping in as an outsider. I mean, in his situation specifically.
Yep.
With a fan base that for the first time just moved on from a 9-win coach. I think there's at least an argument that Callahan's first year would have been the least desirable.
Definitely the most like
I think he inherited
the
maybe
biggest potential for toxicity. I think would have been during that time.
Long period where nothing was happening with the program because it took him famously 40 days to hire a football coach or whatever it was.
People forget. Shout out to Houston Nut.
I feel like the cupboard was probably.
Oh, no, that was Durbo. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. I feel like the cupboard was relatively more bare at that point than at other points
in the first year of Callahan.
Yeah, because you're coming off of Jamal Lord. Your quarterback situation, is effectively Joe Daly and whatever else. So if you're not running the option, you're kind of in a really unique spot.
Okay, so let me straighten this out real quick. Let's do Rule first.
Okay,
so. Because I think we're trying to get to the bottom of a couple of different things here.
Well, there's a lot of different factors that go in.
Right. But mostly you're separating two things. You're separating the program / the circumstances and the coach. That's what I'm trying to break apart. I'm trying to separate from each other. I'm trying to split between the two. So if you were to place Rule in anybody else's first year, do you think there's a spot where it works out better for either the program or Rule / both?
I think you could make an argument that Matt Rule might have been a more effective coach. And I don't know. Part of it is I don't know that I believe this argument, but I think that you could make an argument, and I would at least be willing to listen to an argument, that he'd be a more effective coach in a more closed college system than the current transfer portal environment that's more predicated on the sort of overtime unearthing gems development. Like that's what he did at Baylor. Like that's what he did at Temple.
Yep.
And now at Nebraska, like he's got the transfer portal, but if he's someone who wants to take a Braylon Prude because he believes in the overall athletic ability but knows that it's a long lead time, you get less of that in 2025 or whatever year we want to use here in the last couple than he would have in, say, 2015.
Yep.
So part of it is, I think, if you were going off of the hypothetical that Rule would fit better than Mike Riley in 2015, I would agree with that. I think he was a better coach at that time for the era of what you're in to sort of make that transition.
I don't know what Nebraska needed in 2015.
Unfortunately,
it's a tricky one because
it was so the rest of the context of Sean Eichhorst meddling.
It was so toxic.
People just being mad about everything that was happening.
It was so toxic. And so I don't know what could have been done there.
There was definitely coaches that would have made sense that people would have gotten behind.
Yeah.
Hiring a coach that
I certainly would have liked to see a better coach.
Hiring a coach that came out of left field was, and then doing it where, it was all him. There was no search committee. There was no
right.
I'll never forget getting a phone call from someone affiliated with Mike Gundy, and they're like, "Hey, Coach Gundy wants to know how he can get involved in this coaching search. Like, is there someone that he's interested in this job?" And I'm thinking to myself, like, this was before everything had turned for Mike Gundy, and he had reinvented himself already at this point, and would go on to reinvent himself. I think he's a good coach. I think there's a lot in that personality that probably doesn't fit in the Lincoln Fishbowl, but that's not really the point.
Yeah.
The point being, the job was coveted in a way that, but no one knew how the hiring was happening, and Eichhorst had sort of isolated himself. So then he ends up with this direct result of Mike Riley. But you have this conversation of Kyle Whittingham and these other people.
I know.
I mean, that is an incredible what if you go from a guy that, because I think what you needed after Bo was another sort of direct, strong leader, but in a different leadership model than the Bo Pelini.
Looking back on it in retrospect, right. Riley wasn't strong enough.
Well, he couldn't stand like.
I thought he had a lot of good like football ideas. I mean, I
think Mike Riley as a football coach wasn't really the issue. It was Mike Riley having to be the politician, having to like all of the politics going on in the background. When he loses his defensive coordinator, that's a really good friend of his, after they had a great 2016 defensively until the Iowa game,
hashtag bloodbath,
whatever else. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we're going to make you take this other guy who doesn't even fit what you've recruited to for several years, and you're just going to make it work. You've lost every chance you have of success.
Yeah, it was definitely over at that point.
So I think Matt Rule would fit in well there. So if you start with that one first. Now, the one that I'm more fascinated by is when would have been the best and the worst time to take over a Nebraska coaching job in this?
That's part of I think what we have to establish.
Firing in all sorts of ways. I think a lot of it comes down to me like
if the least desirable first year past
2004. Because it's just the context of everything.
The nominees would be 2004,
15-18,
2018.
Oh, you think?
And I think there's a possibility where you could get rules in there too. Yeah, 23.
Okay, so I guess all of
them. No, the most desirable one is I think post-Bo. The program was in the best.
Post-Bo.
It was in the best position.
Man, I really think post-Callahan with all of that talent.
Post-Bo, post-Callahan, I think both of those are fine. The other three are bad.
Yes,
the other three are horrific. 04 is bad for much different reasons.
I think
like if you do the difference between 04 and 23, I mean, they are both bad for completely opposite reasons. 04, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to live up to the expectation and all these different things and, promises made and stuff like that. 23, it's like, oh my God, do we have any players? And so when Rule talks about what they inherited, he didn't talk about it in 23. He didn't talk about it in 24, but he talked about it in 25. He's like, hey, you guys have to realize kind of what we inherited. And you look back and you compare that moment to all of the other previous moments. And I'm sure Frost would, if Frost is listening to the show right now, he's calling in and saying, hello, I took over from Mike Riley. Did we not suck? Did we not have any players?
The sort of irony of all of this is all of those guys, their best sort of run included holdovers from the era of which they would have been like, yeah, I was left with not much.
Yeah.
And you think about it, and it's like, even with Matt Riley, well, here's a combination.
Whoa.
Matt Rule. Right now, it's like, okay, Emmett Johnson's a holdover, Ty Robinson's a holdover, Nash Hutmaker's a holdover. Like, there's been some other guys, but your best players, by and large, most impactful, came from already in the system. With Scott Frost, you never found a way to replace Stanley Morgan.
Nope.
Point blank period. Your offense sucked because you couldn't recruit wide receivers, and you inherited Stanley Morgan and J.D. Spielman. And there's a reason why at the end of 2018, that's the best your offense ever looked. Because you had two wide receivers that you could utilize, a running back that played pretty well, an offensive.
They figured out the Azigbo thing.
Yeah.
Azigbo, yeah.
Now, defensively, did you have the pieces that you needed to make things happen? No, but did you call offensively game plans that put your defense on an island and allowed you to lose games like Northwestern?
That was the point. That was what they wanted.
That's how they wanted to play.
Yeah.
But it's like
they wanted to score. They wanted to win 56-30.
And some of that is just not having any understanding of the conference of which you're playing in and everything else. But
see, I always say about that, now that we're fully going down memory lane here, like I always say about that time, I wish they would have just kept doing it.
They wanted to, but they didn't recruit
I know.
You can't have Jamie Nance and Demarion Houston be your wide receivers at 165
But then they did this thing where they tried to get like big, and they were all
then it was the flip to Omar Manning and to,
that was never them,
The thing that fascinates
they tried to get too big
is that you had a guy who started his career as a safeties coach, and then he's a wide receivers coach at Oregon, and then he goes from that to being the offensive coordinator. And so he kept doing that with his position coaches. And like Troy Walters is your offensive coordinator and your wide receivers coach. He's probably a good wide receivers coach.
I think he was.
But he didn't ever bring in wide receivers that you could build around.
I think Frost got spooked by the first year in the Big Ten about how they got so physically beat up in the trenches. They tried to get too big, and
they didn't course correct for a while,
and went away from what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
I
think a lot of it was that the offense wasn't going to work how he wanted to run it, and so you had to continue to tinker with that, and you didn't have a defense to fall back on while you were tinkering. That's
true. That is also true as well. Let's get so we're a little bit of everywhere here, predictably so,
because this topic would allow.
It's a very, very broad topic. Bada Bing writes in, imagine if they had a transfer portal after Bo left. With Bo being loved by his players, I feel like so many players would have entered the portal. Gosh, that's kind of interesting. I mean, that's probably true as well. Now we're changing the circumstances, which then we get too convoluted at that point. What if the transfer portal existed in 2003 or 2004?
Here's a weird one for you. What if somehow Frank Solich is brought back after Bill Callahan had restocked the cupboard with talent? Because I don't
know enough about Frank's chops, like as a head coach. Like right. I don't know what made him special.
But he obviously did very well in the MAC. And he switched up offensively what they did in the MAC for running the option.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder if he could have, because it seems like he did a good job of finding assistant coaches. And even in the year that he got let go, you think about some of the assistant coaches they brought in, they did pretty well with it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how Barney Cotton would have been as a full-time offensive coordinator for over 5 years or whatever in the Big 12. But the issue to me just seemed to be they lacked sort of the talent levels to sustain what they had been doing. Like once you dropped off from that 2020 or 2001 group, which even then you saw the difference between where they were and where Miami was.
Right.
And then Callahan brought those talent levels up, and you see where Nebraska was most maximized was shortly after that period. It's just sort of fascinating.
You just think about like the thing.
I'm also a believer that they shouldn't have, like, I would have rather have seen Callahan stay through 2007 than make that switch at that time. But it was so toxic and so bad. And Tom Osborne was the AD that was never going to happen.
That brings up another terrific what if, not necessarily a what if question. Are there any of those coaches who you feel like you would have liked to see it for one more year or 2 more years? Because I asked that for a variety of different reasons. Number one, because of what you just said. Number two, because we are, whether anyone likes it or not, we will be seeing the Matt Rule era to fruition. Whatever
fruition's a strong word, but I know what you mean.
Whatever it becomes, whatever it blooms into, it could bloom into a turd. I don't know what it's going to bloom into.
I needed one less year of Scott Frost, and by that they could have moved on in 2021 and been.
But we are getting the amount of time for Rule or much more. We are not getting less than the afforded time, right? That would be this year. Under real life circumstances,
he will at least get 5 seasons, is what you were saying.
If his buyout isn't what it is, he's on the hot seat right now.
Well, they changed his buyout literally a year ago,
right?
So,
right.
I don't know. I think his seat is warm. I don't know that he's like one of the 5 most likely coaches or even 10 most likely coaches at this point. But I think it'd be closer than what it is now.
Whatever it is,
yeah.
We are getting to the end of the line. I think with Rule, yeah, we're getting 5 for sure. We might get more than that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would be skeptical that they would move off of him if they only won 5 or 6 games this year without the extension from last year. I would be skeptical on that.
Okay.
Because you're still at the point where like you're kind of in this middle, and that's better than where you were. And I think you have to acknowledge that aspect of it a little bit.
Sure.
Now, it's just how far up can you go, which is always the conversation that we're in.
Right.
every single time.
So anyway, back to the question. Yes, I could have used another year less of Frost. I mean, if they
pull that in 2021 and be done with
absolutely 100%. I don't know that there's really anybody who disagrees with that at this point.
There was at the time.
Yeah, there was at the time, but now that we have this is another thing this conversation gives you the opportunity to do. You could see it through hindsight. It's like, yeah, they absolutely should have fired him in 21.
I wouldn't have minded one more year of Bo because I think the bottom would have fallen out in a way that there wouldn't have been this much because I was done with it at the end. But obviously they had won 9 games. Some of it to me is I felt like you could see that the roster had peaked and that they were going to be on the other side of his, this is a guy that got 14 commits in January because they were so bad at recruiting in that time period. And, we're taking guys that they barely knew anything about just to fill up their class at the end. So I think if you gave him one more year, you would have seen the cracks in that foundation much more significant than you did at the end of 2014.
Probably.
So I think it works in that way. I don't think anything changes if you give Mike Riley another year. You go from that awful 4-8 season to
Riley
2018 wouldn't have gotten. But
Riley is the one where it's I don't know what could have been done there because he was always his boss was always his boss until it wasn't, and his boss fired his defensive coordinator in essence. Well, I guess he made Riley fire his defensive coordinator, and once that happened, like you said before, that was DOA. So that's not I don't think it's a situation where it's hey, if you do one more year of Diaco, could it work? It's I don't think so. Things got really, really bad in 2017.
Year two.
Things got really, really bad in 2017.
So I think that one's interesting. I am sort of stuck on this idea because I was, I put myself back in my mindset in 2003. I was more than happy to move on from Frank Solich at that time. And in large part because I wanted something different for Nebraska football. It felt very stale to me. And
I had a similar take when Bo got fired. It was it just feels like it's time,
And the problem with that is you have to get the hire right, which has not happened here, really, arguably, since Devaney gave the reins to Osborne.
Mm-hmm.
So since that time, and I'm stuck on this idea of if someone else had been able to acquire talent, was Frank a good enough CEO and good enough at putting other coaches around him? Because he had that success in the MAC, but would that translate to the Big 12 and the Big 10? I don't really know.
I don't know.
Don't.
It's funny. I don't know that there's been too many instances where they have just totally hired the wrong person. If we're talking about circumstantial, circumstances versus the coach, right? I don't know that there's been any situations where I felt like there were, without the coach, that they were unwinnable situations at Nebraska. For as bad as we've talked about Nebraska as a job over the years and how it's gotten worse and all these different things, I don't think that any of the coaches walked into a situation where they just couldn't, there was no chance. The closest for that was Riley because of his boss
and the vitriol,
and just sort of the moment. But
even then, there's this element, and Riley, you think of it at the end, there's this element where they win some of those. He has the reverse of Matt Rule, right? They win games in November. They win a couple. They beat Rutgers. They beat Michigan State. They have this kind of November. They're really close against undefeated Iowa, and if someone makes a better cut block and Tommy doesn't throw a direct pick six for a touchdown, maybe you win that game. Whatever, you win the bowl game in Foster Farms. And then you're undefeated for the first 6-7 weeks of the season.
Yeah, people were excited about 20.
It's easy to misremember the Mike Riley era as all just bumbling, falling apart. But there was that stretch at the end of 15 and the beginning of 16 going into the Ohio State game, because that Wisconsin game also felt like one they could have won. And then after that, you have that game happen. Tommy gets hurt. You have the horrible game against Iowa. The Music City Bowl, where Derek Barnett, we were talking about that the other day. We have the Arby's logo on Riker Fife's hand.
That's right.
It's a situation where
No, people say that to this day is like, yeah, I just never ever believed in Riley. Liar.
I don't believe it.
Liar. Absolute liar.
And even the when people talk about off-season national championships,
people were bought in, especially especially right after the Bo, because there were, the Bo leavers and the Bo leavers, right? And I mean, what a stupid time that we were in.
I don't want to ever revisit
But there was a lot of people who were like, absolutely, I'm riled up. I bought a t-shirt that says I'm riled up. Like,
the coach that I least believed in when he was hired was Bo Pelini, because I just I'm someone who generally would think at a place like Nebraska, I want a coach that has head coaching experience.
Yeah.
And there was so many other people that interest me at that time. And it felt like they were never going to get anyone other than Bo. So I was just sort of like, for most of 2008, you got what you got by hiring a guy who has no idea what he's doing. And then obviously 2009, I'm covering the team, and you sort of see this shift, and it's like, whoa, okay, this is actually working. The offense is trash, but that defense is legitimately amazing.
Right.
So it took me a long time to buy in on Bo, and then was pretty much off 2013-ish, 2014.
Yeah, that's when it slid.
Obviously 2014 when he let go, but it was after the UCLA game, whichever one of those years it was.
Early 2013. Yeah.
That was, I remember calling Chris Schmidt, and I was like, how do you let this continue? Yeah. This is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And it did for another year.
They blew a big lead and got absolutely smoked.
The second half failures of that regime are just incredible to me.
But then they had a bunch of second half crazy wins too earlier.
But those crazy wins were always like the pull it out of your butt against a bad team.
They did.
The blown leads were always against the good teams, where it's like, oh, you're up 17-0 in the Big 12 championship game. What could go wrong here?
That did happen.
Oh, Taylor took a 72-yard sack to take you out of field goal range.
Yeah.
That happened.
That did happen. They were up 17-0 in a variety of different games and lost.
17 was like
17 was a bad number. 17 was 17-3.
Oh, you're about to give up the rushing record. You're up 17-0 against Wisconsin.
I think it was 17-3. I think because it was
that against Ohio State too, before Carlos Hyde ran the one play.
21-6 or something.
I can't remember
like that.
what the Ohio State lead was before that flipped.
Yeah.
27-6.
27-6. Yes.
2011.
Largest comeback in school history.
No, not that one. 2012, they led at Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. And
before,
the 63-36.
I was telling Matt about this.
Yeah.
They ran one play with Carlos Hyde for most of the second half.
Yeah.
Nebraska never figured it out.
Yeah. Great. So I imagine people might have some thoughts on any of the things we just said.
Said a lot of things.
Did it? We mentioned a lot of people.
Incredible topic.
Did anything trip your trigger? Let us know. 402-951-1620. We'll get to some comments from you all. Also email Connor Mike at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank inbox. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. Stay tuned. We'll have Creighton Nebraska baseball tickets for next Tuesday. We'll have your opportunity to win those during the show. Also, don't forget Creighton baseball tonight at home against Kansas. So, yeah, if you are a Nebraska baseball fan, you obviously hate Kansas, blood feud. I don't know how you feel about Creighton. We play them next Tuesday. Whatever. You could come out and enjoy some baseball at the ballpark today.
You don't know how they feel about Creighton in general, or just Nebraska baseball, Creighton?
Creighton baseball.
Okay.
Creighton baseball. We hate Kansas baseball at the moment. Creighton baseball, I don't know. They've won a couple in a row. It's just like whatever. I don't know what helps in terms of RPI. Maybe you're trying to get KU out of there because they're hosting a region, like they're a better chance to host a regional at this point.
I think that would even be true even if they lost to Creighton.
Okay. I don't know. RPI clearly doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Things move just very, very rapidly in
it's
that
nice
world.
that Kansas hasn't canceled this game.
It is nice. Creighton's a top 100 RPI team, so like they're not going to get RPI massaged, I don't think. But
you would hope not.
There are some teams who be getting RPI massaged. That's for sure. All right, let's take let's take the comments from you all from a variety of different places on our super mega topic that included 8 topics inside of one topic. Andrew writes in, everyone says the curse of Frank Solich, but there was a lot of winning seasons post Frank. Look at the seasons post Bo. Shouldn't it be the curse of Bo?
Yeah, you can make that argument.
I mean, it's been really bad post Bo, with the exception of 1 year.
Curses.
Right.
Do you believe?
Yeah, I think people believe in curses around here. There's
no doubt about
that.
The curse of Riley, because there's been more worse seasons post Riley than before Riley.
Oh, interesting. Because Riley had one good season.
Yeah. Which is still better than any season that's happened post him.
Correct.
Which is sad.
It is.
This topic.
Although
they're terrible.
Okay, another topic.
Thank you, John Fantas caller.
Another topic. Does Mike Riley's 2016 9-win team, how do they do when placed in Matt Rule's 2025 team? Placed in for Matt Rule's 2025 team. Do they still win 9 games?
That 2016 team, when healthy, was pretty dangerous.
They were pretty good.
Yeah.
They were skating. They were skating a little bit there. In the first 7 games.
I mean, I remember this because I remembered it when I saw the news of his passing. But Chris, I think he changed it to Chris Peyton Jones. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Chris Jones. Yeah,
he had the big interception pick return against Indiana in that game. And that game,
there was a big Stanley Morgan play in that game too. They needed like several big plays.
There's a moment that occurred in the post game. So I went with some friends for that one. But there's a moment that occurred in post game that Nebraska beat reporters always referred to. And it was asked about this play that Tommy Armstrong made. And Langsdorff just kind of like looks off to the side and smiles and refers to it as a signature Tommy play, which effectively meant Tommy changed the play, did whatever he wanted, and then it worked out in this massive YOLO touchdown.
Danny Langsdorff did that a lot.
Yeah.
Danny Langsdorff loved to just basically wink at the crowd and say, yeah, I don't know. Tommy's not really my guy. But
he never fully threw him under the bus.
No.
But even in the moments, you always sort of knew, okay,
Tommy being
he
Tommy.
called something and it did not make it to the field. I mean,
of course, the most infamous of which was the Illinois game in 2015. Here is Nick on Twitter. How could someone have not believed in Calabrasca? We were talking about our various belief levels in Mike Riley in 2015. Yes, that's right. Listen to our last segment. There was a lot of ground that was covered. That's for sure. Wes says Bo was the last coach that could beat Iowa. Well, that's not true. Mickey Joseph.
Yeah, Mickey Joseph got him. Can't take that away from him.
That's true. Bo was the last full-time coach to beat Iowa, which
no doubt about it.
Now that is a pretty wild thing to say.
Now, in fairness, Iowa has gotten a lot better since that time.
Iowa has gotten. I don't know that Iowa's gotten a lot better.
I think they're better.
Time.
I mean, they had multiple top 10 finishes in that time. Like you had the undefeated team in 2015. You had,
but Sure. The rankings, I think they've probably won more games. But are they better? I don't know.
They play the same brand of football. They've won the same amount of games.
That's kind of where I'm at, Joey. Yeah.
I don't recall them being as like outwardly putrid on offense in the early part of Kirk Ferentz, but they were nowhere near as good defensively as they have been in the last decade. That element has jumped considerably.
Their
offense, like when they had there was a world where they had Brad Banks and even Ricky Stanzi, and their offense was not how bad it has been recently. It's like the two things flipped. The defense has always been solid, but then it went to a different level where it was really, really good, and the offense just tanked.
That was probably right around the time where Nebraska joined the league,
and right around the time where Brian Ferentz took on a stronger role with everything.
Interesting how that works. Let's see. Ron, totally disagree. Should have never fired 9-win Bo, the players' coach.
Yeah, there's still those people.
He was definitely the players' coach. Okay, so once again, did we get to an answer here with Matt Rule? Does it work out any better for him in any other period of time? / would you like to put another coach in his spot?
I would have loved to have seen Matt Rule in the spot right behind Bo Pelini, because I think that's the era of football that might actually have been best for Matt Rule. If you look at the success that he had at Baylor, it came shortly after that.
I think Matt Rule's best spot once again, we're talking about out of all of the first years since 2000, first year of new coaches at Nebraska since 2003. 4. Sorry. And I think Rule's best spot is the one that he ended up in. Okay. I think he was the right guy, the right hire for that job at the time. I like Frost in a way. I wish that what he had planned to do at first had come to fruition a little bit more. I think they deviated. I think they have deviated in a couple of different ways. One of the things I loved about Rule so much is the fact it is his consistency and, his ability to sort of just like quietly put his head like that. That was one of the things that we knew about him at first. And I think definitely was the case in his first year. And then it was different.
Right.
And then it was there. And I don't really know exactly why. I think there's a lot of arms to that conversation.
The pressure to win immediately. Yeah. You end up with Dylan Raiola changes the overall plan of how you're trying to build things.
Those would both be at the top of the list.
I'm very firmly, and I said this at the time that it happened, I felt like they were going to sacrifice immediate success with Kyle McCord with the idea that Dylan Raiola would bring more success in the long term.
And it didn't
happen. So here's a question that I kind of had that formulated my brain through all of this. When you go back and you think about some of these eras where Nebraska is looking to hire a coach, who is a name that maybe they weren't ever offered the job, but they were talked about in that stretch that you would have been really interested in seeing hired in that specific period of time? Because I have one of them.
You got to pull some hot boards.
I had one in mind that I thought was in the conversation. Wasn't Brett Bielema kind of in that conversation with
that? Was a 2013-14 thing. Okay. I remember
that was when they were thinking about firing Bo, and somebody asked Harvey Perlman about it. He said
we
would never hire Bielema. And then
Jim Polon says no.
At that point, it was just Harv.
So in 2007, I was like really stuck on Brian Kelly, of all people.
Okay.
Who was at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
At that point in time. And I think he could have been a really strong, given what happened at Notre Dame and a similar, I think there's some similarity. It's easier to get players at Nebraska of academic.
There was nobody else in 2017 or late 2017.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nobody else.
Even the names it could have been, like the Chip Kellys and the Justin Fuentes, and those were the names that Bill.
Just an all-time bad hiring class.
It would have been horrible.
Yep.
Nobody would have worked nobody worked for anybody in 2017.
I definitely wouldn't have liked to see Justin Fuente, but that
was the other day.
Crab Creek Chronicles was like, yeah, we would have hired Justin Fuente. It's like, so what would that have done?
That was his other name.
That would have done literally nothing.
In 2003, I assume you read that awesome article from Max Olson and Mitch Sherman.
Yes.
The Al Saunders thing would have been really fascinating because it seems like it was set up similar to what happened with he was just the Raiders coach, Pete Carroll, at USC. Like the idea of bringing in this offense, bringing like that style of play. How that would have worked in the Big 12, I don't know. Callahan tried something similar, and Cosgrove was not the right guy as defensive coordinator.
They're like 2017-18. I don't think there was like a whole lot of standout names that were just floating around during the, in the time in which they ended up with Callahan.
So the big one that everyone sort of, it's like, what if they could have had Urban Meyer? But Urban Meyer said that he would never have taken a job where a coach got fired after a 9-win season. So, whether that's retroactively.
Urban Meyer would have probably taken Nebraska at the time.
You would think.
But I don't know that Nebraska had the foresight. Like, nobody had the foresight to see, that. I guess
he was really good at Utah, but you wouldn't have known that he would be what he was.
Now that's the biggest what if. If they would have hired him in that moment, we're talking about a very, very different world right now. Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. Any thoughts from you all? 402-951-1620. We will take them. But first we'll have the headlines after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. At 7:50 here on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. So we got to make it tight. We got some headlines, Joey. What do we got?
All right, first headline, robot passenger causes flight delay in California. It's not a Spirit plane, though.
It's always robots causing delays.
A lot of robot headlines, a lot of AI headlines, almost like this.
People like to
over the
click on
world.
robot stuff.
Taking over the
I
world.
think people like to click on
Yeah.
robot stuff. I think that's one thing that the world has found. All right, what's the second one?
Montreal warns vigilante pavers to stop patching potholes.
Oh, okay.
Done.
That's a click. Yeah,
Done.
absolutely.
Done.
100%. All right. This is from the Montreal News Gazette or the Gazette. Montreal's potholes have become so out of hand that vigilantes are now taking to filling them in themselves. In recent days, two people have gained notoriety because they have patched dozens of potholes on their own time and with their own supplies and money. Both resorted to repairing craters after breaking parts of their own cars on potholes. Earlier this week, downtown resident Saad Takaut became an Instagram hit after videos of him filling potholes around the city were shared wildly. This is a hero. Takaut, who owns Marquise Passagement, said he was frustrated after he busted a tire while running over a pothole in Laval. After a friend got a flat tire in the same pothole, he decided enough was enough and repaired it himself. Little by little, family members, friends, then strangers contacted him to ask him to patch potholes around the city. He's now up to 3 per day and has been doing it for about a month. That's about 100 potholes filled.
Bravo.
And I guess the city has a problem with this. He's providing a service to people. He gets the asphalt and paves over the potholes wherever people ask him to go. Let's see. Khan said he specializes in equipment that can produce patches with a technique that he claims is better than the one that is used by the city's crews. Quote, nobody is saying that city workers don't work hard, but with the equipment we have, we are faster. I could do between 500 and 1,000 patches per day easily. So these two, now Takan and Takeout, say their goal isn't to gain notoriety, but rather to do their part in making the city safer. A pull quote from a city organizer: "It's all fun and games until they get caught and ticketed." The city lawyer Ari Levy is not happy about this. A law firm helps people fight tickets. Let's see. Potholes are pretty crazy. There seems to be a lot more as they seem more dangerous, but filling potholes yourself is illegal. It's basically modifying a public infrastructure or doing unauthorized work on city property. They can get a fine or they could get sued. It's all fun and games until they get caught and ticketed. Well, they haven't yet, even though there's this giant story about them on the Gazette.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand from the city's perspective. Like, there's a liability thing here. You don't know how they're being filled. You don't know the quality of the work, whatever.
I don't know that the city has done anything yet. It's just mostly this lawyer guy who's like, yeah, I hope they don't get caught and ticketed.
Yeah, I too hope they don't get caught and ticketed.
It
but
seems
more
like it
than
doesn't
that,
have a bad ending yet.
I hope
Expect something.
friend of the show, Marty Cordero, is listening.
Marty?
And then wants to bring back the Omaha potholes for a day while bringing this hero down from Montreal to be celebrated for the work.
He could throw out the first pitch and wave to
That
everybody.
would be amazing.
Hello, everyone.
He could bring his little pothole thing down like the truck. I don't know how you'd make this all work.
I do love the idea of a vigilante pothole filler. There's no doubt about
I'm
it.
surprised we don't have one in Omaha.
I am too, and I'm surprised that person hasn't gone viral on TikTok.
Generally not pro vigilante. Sorry, Batman, if you're listening.
Damn.
There's things in an organized society that are necessary. However, a vigilante pothole filler, I do appreciate.
Doesn't seem to be causing any harm to anybody.
No, he actually seems to be helping people like me not have to replace our tires.
Especially if they could do it in a way that is apparently more efficient than what the city does.
Yeah, it's his pothole. Like, hire him to solve the issue by hiring the guy. Like, contract
bring
him
him in
out to do the pothole filling. Like, isn't this the easy thing to do?
If you can't beat him, join him.
This is a win. Like, just give yourself the win. We hired the pothole guy.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how this develops. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this. 8 o'clock hour coming up on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Happer and Schaefer rolls on here on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer with you. The Green for the Green 5K sweepstakes is still going on, powered by Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. So, with the 5K sweepstakes, think of all the things you could do with the 5K. Improve your golf game, get better equipment, get a membership, whatever it might be. Contest runs for another couple weeks here through May 19th. And once again, Green for Green 5K sweepstakes powered by Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. Just saw this. Let's see who has it. Anna Bellinghausen says Nebraska volleyball will play at AT&T Stadium on August 27th with a $1 million prize up for grabs.
Whoa.
It says 4 iconic teams, 1 legendary stadium, $1 million in prize money. August 27th at 7. So is that just when it starts? There's obviously it needs to be 3 games in order for this to find a winner here, but
I assume that it's like a single elimination tournament of some sort then? Or a
4 team. So the 4 teams pictured in the graphic are SMU, Penn State, Nebraska, and Florida.
Okay.
So
I'm curious if there's like a third place consolation game to this.
I mean, this is basically like the players era thing, just smaller. But you like, I'm just wondering.
Winners play winners, losers play losers.
Yeah, but the winners are the only ones who are eligible, I assume, for the prize. August 27th is a Thursday. Do you do the championship is the next day, or do you just play?
I would think it would be on
the same day.
I would think the championship be on a Saturday.
Yeah, whatever it might be. There you go. Nebraska volleyball's crazy, wacky non-con schedule continues to come together. So they're doing a Wrigley. They're doing
Brookings.
They're doing Brookings. They're doing DePaul. They're doing this. They're doing there's still the unnamed Texas match.
Game, yeah. I was actually wondering if it was
kind of what
be this.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
You read them off and was like, oh, none of those are Texas.
None of those are Texas.
All those teams except Florida have like a harrowing win over Nebraska, I suppose.
They do.
The SMU isn't that. Like they beat them the regular season 2 years ago.
It was harrowing, though.
It was a huge win for SMU.
Yes.
Like very, very big for that program.
It was very surprising that Nebraska lost to SMU. With this,
then it turned out they were like a
it turned out
they were pretty
team, but they were good after all.
Yeah.
So
nobody knew going in.
Still undetermined on when and where that Nebraska Texas match will be, but the rumors are, I guess, that it's Vegas.
So they're gonna play.
This is the rumors, okay? Listen, this is the rumors.
Brookings, Chicago twice, basically with Wrigley and DePaul. Dallas,
Jura World,
and then Vegas,
maybe
potential.
Yeah.
Whoa,
that's the Nebraska volleyball traveling roadshow.
Lincoln O'Neill better figure out his travel budget here. As our volleyball correspondent that we plan to utilize more when volleyball season comes along. He's going to be busy.
Yeah.
Hope he's got some miles.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's all you got to do it. Like I always say, if it is Vegas, all you have to do is go to Vegas, a couple times. They'll invite you back for the rest of your life.
I'll send him one of the 17 Resorts World emails I've gotten in the last 4 days about. They sent me one.
See, when you stay
your room would be $3. Just pay the resort fee. And it's like, oh, cool.
You have to pay the resort fee. Yeah.
The resort fee is nothing compared to what I lost at your stupid electronic roulette.
Yeah, see, but that's not what I'm thinking about when I book a room. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I know how much money it's going to cost me to get there and to gamble. But if you're telling me the room could cost $3, I'll sign me up.
Yeah, and that's an amazing casino.
The key is you have to stay with one property manager, because there's only so many property managers now in Las Vegas.
Sure.
So I just get MGM emails.
I think I'm always Caesars is where a lot of mine comes in at.
But now I'll be getting the Circa emails, and I'm interested in the Circa emails. Yeah.
Actually, I take that back because last time I was Aria, which I'm pretty sure is MGM.
It is.
Yeah. So now I'm just dabbling in both.
Come on up to Circle with me.
building nothing in either world.
Come on up to the.
I would love to stay at Circle,
the 70 whatever floor, and have a nice beverage.
I've hit the point where I've stayed at the casinos that I've stayed at too often that I need to go somewhere else and it's not that I haven't been to Fremont Street, but staying somewhere and visiting somewhere are two different things.
See, I do not want the experience although it could be funny for like a day, so let's say we go out there on, well, I guess I'll be out there in November. But like, let's just say we do this separately, right? We go out on a Thursday afternoon, evening, and then like just absolutely grind it, like go to sleep at 6 p.m. whenever we get there, and then wake up and do the show at 4 on Friday, and then we have the rest of the weekend. Are you interested?
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Okay. I don't know where we would do the show from at 4 o'clock in the morning. Probably just somebody's room, like I did.
I don't understand why Circa wouldn't set up something for us, and then it'd be
They
so
definitely
noisy.
would. They definitely
would. But yeah, I am interested if this is something that's actually on the table.
We could maybe do it from the casino floor. And they'd have the dancing people, dancing girls that are just they're dancing around.
Play of the ongoings at the casino.
I think that would be our highest watch stream. So
it definitely would.
It would be.
And I'll tell you, it's like purposefully casinos are built this way, so you don't know really what time it is. When I came back, when I was out there for the Crown, woke up in the morning, had an early flight or whatever, and like I think it was in the 5s. I want to say it was in the 5s. And I went downstairs and I couldn't help myself. I had to, put more money down on the table before I left. And I did. And they always sucked me in, but I won that time.
That's what they do.
Then it feels like you're stealing money, which is great, which maybe people will have the opportunity.
And if you win too much, they'll kick you out. I've seen
generally if you're winning too much, they keep you around to lose it back to them.
Right.
Then they're comping you.
If they
with,
feel like
you're
you're
too good
cheating,
they'll kick you out.
Then they will kick you out.
And maybe you won't have your thumbs.
How are they
operable.
Are they going to really put? Are they really going to? I mean, how many people in Jera World are we talking about here? Now, Lincoln says that this is an exhibition deal. Spikes under the lights.
Okay.
He says the 80,000 seat capacity home of the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday, August 27th. They'll compete with SMU, Florida, Penn State for a prize pool of $1 million. Lauren, shout out to Lauren Michelson from KETV. She got the press release. I haven't seen the press release. It says the 3-hour event will air live in prime time on a major national network. Broadcast partner details will be announced at a later date. Spikes Under the Lights will mark a historic milestone as the first women's college sporting event to be staged at Jera World, and one of the first women's sporting events of any kind to take place at an NFL venue. A 3-hour live primetime event. A single night competition format with 2 semifinal matches followed by a championship final.
How would you have it in 3 hours?
Best of 3 sets.
Gotcha. That would be how.
There you go.
Interesting.
That's very different. I didn't think it was going to be an exhibition.
I was hoping they were going to bring back side out volleyball.
Let's throw it back, baby.
Get rid of this rally scoring.
Yeah, no, that obviously makes games different.
Much different.
much different. All right. I have a question for you, Schaefer.
Yes.
Have you seen this?
Is it like the last question?
No, it's not like the last question. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Here is Power 4 school records versus ranked opponents in the college football era.
Oh, no.
Look at what that says. Schaefer's closing it. He's not frozen on the screen right now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I can't believe this. I can't believe what I'm looking at.
But you lived through it. Like that's
I know. Thing. I watch it, and it's not surprising to me when I look at it. But oh my god, look at it!
Look who's above them.
If you're listening with us on radio and you're not watching Schaefer grimace right now, here's what it says. You have to go all the way to the bottom, obviously, to find Nebraska on this list. Not to the very bottom. Rutgers is 0-37 against ranked opponents in the college football era.
Incredible.
Ranked wins.
What a stat.
Nebraska is next to last. 2-34 against ranked teams. I mean, how many of those ranked games have been against like 20 to 25?
Right.
How many of those ranked games where you've been favorites?
Right.
Probably more than a handful.
Yeah.
My God. And then Maryland, Boston College, and Kansas are the teams around them.
Can you name both wins?
The Oregon game in 2016, and then I think 2015 against Michigan State.
That's it.
The Oregon one was the one that I was like, I couldn't remember which non-conference opponent was ranked.
That's it. That was their last ranked win.
Yeah, because Oregon had a really bad season, but with that being such an early,
So Mike Riley
game.
has the 2 ranked wins that Nebraska has had.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Hip, hip,
And
hooray.
people claim they
hooray.
didn't ever support the program under Mike Riley.
I mean, it's just good to see this. This is from some random aggregator Twitter
Good to
account.
see this.
I mean, I needed to see it with my own eyes because I feel like we don't. I don't know. I feel like we don't. Yesterday, I was listening to Unsportsmanlike Conduct on my way downtown, and they had like they just basically just brought up the fact that Rules buyout is so giant again. I'm like, yeah, I guess we do know this, but it is crazy to hear it again. You know, we want to hear this again, and so 2-34 in your last 36 games against ranked opponents. This is in the entire college football playoff era. So this is since 2014. Meanwhile, at the top, if you're interested, Alabama is 62-17.
I hate this graphic because it's not ordered in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I think it's probably by winning percentage would be my guess, considering.
Yeah, I'm just thrown off because you have like 12 and 17, and 17 and 25, and then 11 and 18. I suppose there's incremental differences.
Yeah, they should list it by winning percentage.
I think it's set up based on how many top 25 opponents each team has played. Like
No,
Alabama,
that's not true.
Because 39 is less than 42.
Yeah. No, that's not. It's definitely winning
29,
percentage.
yeah,
It's definitely winning percentage.
I guess I was looking at the top 3 and just doing the math.
It's just winning percentage.
Yeah.
But they don't
right.
list the actual winning percentage.
Which so then it drives me nuts,
Right.
because it just feels so scattered.
Right.
And I understand it. It's also I don't know. The way my brain works doesn't like it.
So here's the company that Nebraska is in. So these are all schools that have played in a lot of ranked games and have won very, very few of them. Rutgers is 0-37. Nebraska is 2-34. Maryland is 4-38. Boston College is 4-32. Kansas is 5-37. I would imagine most of those are in the last like 3 years. Colorado is 6-35. Vanderbilt is 8-40. Purdue is 7-34. Arkansas is 13-53, which is in a lot of ways just as bad. That's a lot.
Played 30 more.
They've played
30 more ranked games.
Yeah. 30
That's
more.
incredible.
Now, but if Nebraska plays another 30 ranked games without winning.
Yeah, I mean they're up to, you know.
All right. So let's go back into crazy question town here. Out of Nebraska's next
36 ranked games.
or you could just do 10 years,
Okay.
10 years.
This is almost what this is.
Almost what this is. It's a little bit more. Let's just say they play 30 ranked games in 10 years. How many would you expect a normal program to win? And then how many would you expect Nebraska to win? Knowing what you know about the program right now.
So off
Schaefer's forecast.
Off the absolute cuff, I would expect a normal program. And by normal, I mean like sort of the middling 8-win to, sort of in there.
Yeah, let me throw the graphic back up.
Like a 10-20 seems reasonable.
Like
to me out of 30 games.
Wisconsin and Penn State are both 16-31. That feels pretty reasonable.
Yeah, out of, so like
Those are comparable programs to like Iowa's 13-26.
like
Basically,
Georgia Tech is 14-30. And like I think that obviously that's more than the 30 games or whatever. But
what are we talking about here? We're talking about like a 30 to 40% winning percentage.
Right.
In ranked games.
Right.
Reasonable.
Seems that way to me.
Mm-hmm.
Less so than reality. Significantly.
And then every year we have done at least one topic alert of will this be the year that Nebraska finally does it? They finally beat a ranked team. And frankly, here's the reason why I brought this up, because I've been thinking about it a lot because of something Mitch and I talked about on the podcast a couple of days ago. And, you know, he was sort of talking about it, and we'll talk with him about this in a moment. You know, hey, it's maybe like a 2-year kind of stretch here. I was like, yeah, that's kind of an appropriate way to look at it, I think. But I want to see, like, you got to hit a benchmark this year in order for me to be excited at all about 2027. And I think a real life, tangible, not like you can't mess around with it benchmark is beating a ranked team this year, beating or maybe even better off, beating one of those 3 that nobody thinks you have a shot in hell beating.
Yeah.
You know, like Nebraska needs to win a game that they're not supposed to win, simply because A, they're due, and B, it hasn't happened in a long time. I guess those are the same things that are both tied together there.
It seems weird to pick a singular game and hyper focus on it when it's not at the beginning of the season, and lots of things can go different ways by the time you get there. I think that Nebraska needs to beat Washington at home on October 30. Like, in lieu of not beating any
Ohio
of the
State,
top
Indiana,
3 teams, if you beat Washington at home, you take care of business against, you know, presumably Illinois or Rutgers or both. Like, if you're 3-0 in those games, but you lose the other 4 big games, I can kind of live with that, because you're probably 8-4 at that point. And 8-4 would be a good year for a team that nobody thinks can go 8-4 as it is anyway.
Washington is the big swing game of the year.
I don't know that it's a big swing game, but it's just one of those where it's like, if you are going to be, and this is sort of what it cuts to me, if you're going to be a team that is actually on the cusp of ever being interesting and not just a doormat, you need to prove that you can beat teams in the middle of the conference, and continually they've lost to those teams.
Yeah.
And like, Washington represents that, because they seem upwardly mobile to me. They seem like a team that's going to either be like right around 20th to 30th in the country, like in that range when you play them. Go win that game. You're at home.
I think they need to beat somebody with a little backbone. Like,
yeah, I mean,
like,
there's no argument against this.
I know, but I just like, I think in order
like,
to,
if they beat Washington and they were 24th, would that do anything for you?
And
they go 1
hard
one
to
and,
say.
They play 5 ranked games. They go 1-4 in them.
Hard to say.
Right.
Like, I would rather take, if you're telling me they're going to play 5 ranked games and they're going to go 1-4 of them, like,
you would take any of the other 4 because I know who they would be.
Correct.
Right.
Literally,
but I'm not offering you any of those.
Well, then I'm not going to turn down a win, though. If the other
These scenarios are so dumb.
I
won't take it.
We have so many scenarios that we have laid out today,
but
just an infinite amount.
I really think they need to beat Washington at home.
But what would the Washington, like, if they beat Washington, what are people saying about? What does that do for you perception-wise?
It obviously depends on what the rest of the season looks like.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I think perception-wise, if you beat Ohio State,
sure, there's no argument. You're beating a college football playoff team.
Yeah.
You beat Indiana. I was talking with Caleb Henry about this on a podcast yesterday, but the Indiana schedule and the Nebraska schedule are almost identical. Like, they both play nobodies in their first 3 games, and then they play the team that Pat Fitzgerald used to coach for, and you play the team that Pat Fitzgerald coaches now.
Nice.
They play Rutgers, you play Maryland. Those are the first 5 games before either of those teams meet up. Your best chance of beating Indiana in probably a long time is probably that game in October, where they still are maybe figuring out what they are, because they have to replace a lot, and they still have a lot coming back. So if you're going to get them, this feels like a relative, because you're the best team that they will have played. That's not saying a lot. And you're probably more closer to that Northwestern team than you ever want to admit out loud. But you're the best team in their first 6 games.
Yeah. Maybe
is probably the way to phrase it.
D'Lo writes in, he says, Nebraska football 2026 on the cusp of potentially being interesting. I think it's a great way to describe it, actually.
That's very true.
On the cusp of potentially being interesting.
And that's if they beat Washington.
Then then they're
on the cusp of potentially being interesting.
They're very much on the cusp at that point. Here's Nicholas on Twitter. You guys can tweet at us at Happer and Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. But wait, how many of those losses to ranked teams are single score losses?
Don't care about this. I do not care. There is not an amount that matters to me at all in my brain.
2-34 is pretty overwhelming. You know, if
I
it
can't
was
remember what the contract was that I signed because however you can lose by 30.
Oh yeah, it's
the Oregon,
it's Ohio State, Indiana minus 30.
Yeah, it's that
in any way, shape, or form.
Right. And I don't remember if I signed it or not.
I don't think you did.
I'm guessing I did.
I don't think you did.
Because I don't
have
really,
that contract. I lost the document.
I genuinely in 2026 do not care what the margin of defeat is for a Nebraska football game at this point in time. If they lose to Ohio State by 3 or 4, I've witnessed it, experienced it, and it did not change how anyone felt about the season. If you lose by Indiana by 65, I don't care. It does not matter to me. They either win or they don't win.
It matters to me a little bit. It really does. I mean, like, not that it's more.
Would you have taken Illinois' season despite their laughing stock of a game against Ida? Jeez, how many different
Indiana
states can I say here?
Indiana, Indiana.
Just going over the whole corridor over there.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
They lost that game by about a bajillion points. And then Kurt Cignetti totally flamed them the next week when they beat Iowa by 5.
Yeah, but it's not about the one game. Like if you're losing games close, there is something that you could do in there that could
Is there? Because we went through this. I don't think there is. You went through 2021.
Now that coach couldn't figure it out.
Well, I mean, if you're continually losing games by close,
but they were. I mean, look, for all the jokes that go along with this, I mean, they were capable of beating those teams in 2021.
Right.
That does not give you any, like, it doesn't give you any wins in the win.
Right.
Column.
No, I totally get that.
But like, I would rather have it that way than being 3-9 and getting absolutely smoked.
Well, yeah. In this scenario, I'm obviously not choosing 3-9.
Right.
We
went into those big games that year thinking they had a chance to win.
So okay,
and they nearly did.
If you
I don't want to go into the Ohio State game in November and thinking this is a death trap and there's no way Nebraska gets out alive.
Would you?
I would just rather go in the other way.
Here's a stupid scenario. Would you rather go 8-4 and in 3 of those losses to the top teams, you go 8-4 and you lose to all 4 of the teams that you think you lose?
Okay. Indiana, Ohio State,
and
Oregon,
you get blown out in all 3 of those statement games, and you lose to Iowa by 7 points.
How about 3?
Pick a number with Iowa.
It's always 3.
Or you go 6-6 and you lose none of those games by blowouts, but you lose 2 games to teams like Rutgers, Illinois, Washington.
Do you win any of the big statement games? No, I would not take that. If you could give me a big statement win,
so you're
interested.
6-6 with a big statement win, but you've lost 3 games to Northwestern's not even on the schedule. You've lost 3 games to Ohio, North Dakota, Bowling Green, any of these 3, obviously. Michigan State, Maryland, Illinois, Rutgers, Washington.
This is close. This is close for me.
But you're 6-6.
I want the big statement win. But
you beat Ohio State before you lost to Iowa.
8-4 is great. 8-4. If it's 8-4 is a lot.
8-4 with negative scoring differential.
I don't like getting smoked in those games. I mean,
it's awful.
I don't like it.
That's the Bo Pelini era.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is.
I'm not losing by blowouts in any of those big games, and I'm winning one in a 6-6 season where I disappointingly lose to.
You're 6-6, but they beat Ohio State at home on November.
And they have like
Joey, 22nd. Does that sound right?
And they have just like an absurd.
You're familiar with every Saturday from now until 2031.
Not really.
Now I'll tell you this.
Get familiar.
I'm not invested in the Nebraska schedule like I am with the NFL.
I'll tell you this at the same time. There's no game in the Matt Rule era that pains you more than the ridiculous Minnesota game last year, the Friday night game. That was awful. And so you're telling me that they're going to basically do that twice next year.
Game that pains me more.
I mean, that game was
terrible.
It was
I mean,
awful.
it was a pathetic performance.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no argument on that.
Don't be pathetic. There's some pathetic things in there. I don't know. It's really a difficult decision.
We're having a lot of like odd May conversations.
I
And I'm
know.
here for
It's
it.
very
The
May
offseason.
show.
People that have been listening since the start of the show have to have just been like, what the hell are these guys
How many
on?
hypothetical questions can these guys ask?
We've got more, I'm sure.
We can ask a couple to Mitch Sherman from The Athletic, who joins us next on 1620 The Zone. All right. We are joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline by our good friend Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. I'm well.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. The Nebraska Volleyball World Tour continues to roll on. The exhibition at Jarrah World is the next stop on the World Tour.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they configure the stadium. So they have many options, and that'll depend on how the ticket sales go. And I don't know, considering this is an exhibition and a made-for-TV thing, I don't know if Nebraska sells out these spring matches that are exhibitions, and this thing on August 27th is more relevant than a spring match because you're right you're 1 week away from going to Wrigley Field for a match that counts. But this one notably does not count in the standings. It'll be interesting to see. Can they get 50,000 or something like that?
Whoa. I don't
know. SMU fans is probably a no, other than a couple thousand, but there's a ton of Nebraska fans in the North Texas area. Maybe that's high, but I could see it being a big number. And it's a cool format. They're going to play best of 3 sets, and maybe there'll be some other rule alterations too. There are things in the international game in volleyball that some advocates in the sport here on the college level would like to see tried, just to take advantage of this moment that volleyball's having before the Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles. And this is a good time as any to do it because there's not really anything at stake other than $1 million, which also adds to the intrigue of the thing that the players are gonna share $1 million in this thing. So that's significant.
Mitch, you've obviously been around Nebraska volleyball for a long time. It's been successful for a long time. What would you attribute its massive rise in popularity over the last, I would say, probably 5 to 7 years to? I mean, because they've been good for a long time. They haven't exactly been stacking national titles. Is there something about the current run of Nebraska volleyball that sort of turned this into, it's like the Beatles have come to some of these towns?
Yeah. Well, it was an escalation process. Going to the Devaney Center definitely opened them up to a larger audience. The way that TV has bought in more with volleyball, and the Big Ten Network definitely has been a factor there. But then other things like ABC and Fox getting involved, in addition to ESPN, which has covered the sport for a long time, those things helped. It's not, Nebraska hasn't won a national championship since 2017, but it has played in a bunch of Final Fours since then and lost in the national championship match 3 times since 2017. So they still remain very, very relevant and been just about the most successful team, minus that big caveat that you haven't won a title in almost 10 years. It's been 8 years. So that's part of it. But I think the bigger thing, and this doesn't go back 7 years, it's more like 3 years, but this class that Nebraska has right now, the senior class, the social media aspect is important, and now they're endorsing products, and that kind of snowballs on itself. So when you have Harper Murray and Bergen Riley and Andy Jackson and Laney Choboy in this class, and all of them are very well known, some in Nebraska, some nationally, that's what I think kind of was the tipping point in turning them into this kind of rock star team that can go into AT&T Stadium and expect to sell a lot of tickets.
Mitch, your colleague at the Athletic, Scott Docterman, had his Big Ten fan survey out, and there's a good variety of different questions that are in here, some of which focus on the future of the conference as a whole, and it's very difficult to talk about the conference as a whole without talking about how much money they make. And it's a story that you and I talked about on the podcast a couple of days ago, that they distributed $1.4 billion basically to their member schools. Does that take the
the private equity thing, like, does it take that off the table? Is the Big Ten actually, I know no one's ever said this, especially in recent college conference history, but is the Big Ten comfortable with how much money they're able to distribute and the gap between them and the SEC to where they're not actually thinking about making more money at this point?
I mean, it's good right now, but I don't think that you're ever going to be in a situation where the schools in the league say, yeah, we're good. We're making enough money. We don't need to try to make any more. Like, that's just not the way it works. And having worked for Disney and the New York Times and like these big media companies, they have the same kind of mindset that their partners in athletics do. Not that the New York Times is a partner with any conferences, but certainly Disney is and Fox is. And it's what can you do next? I mean, it can be exhausting. Like that there's always this, like we have to shift this focus and do this. Like there's always this striving to do more, and it's good for business for sure. From the outside looking in, like it can wear out the fans a little bit, but it's a proven formula that works. And I don't think the Big Ten's just getting started. Like, I mean, that's in their minds, like they're looking at 1.4 billion and going, all right, can we get that to 2 billion? That's just the way it is. And I don't think that they're going to stop seeking new ways to be creative and generate revenue. The private equity thing, there's probably less urgency there as a result of this, but they've shifted away from that more because Michigan and USC, there were member schools, important schools in the process who didn't want any part of that. So I don't think it's because they were good and had enough money.
You kind of talked about that in the sense of the Big Ten. Like, do you sort of feel that with Nebraska athletics too, especially coming out of the conversation of sort of baseball season ticket holders and that whole conversation last week, which may not matter now following the 3-game sweep to Ohio State, but it kind of feels like Nebraska athletics is in that same path, and it kind of feels like it has to be too in order to keep up with everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar conversation. I view it a little bit differently. It's not like they're, obsessed with making money to satisfy their shareholders, which when you get into big business, that's kind of what it is. And I think the Big Ten falls in line with that. While that's not the formula, the equation that's happening in Nebraska. For Nebraska, it's a matter of remaining viable and continuing to be in a place where they can make money, where they can be in the black on the balance sheet every year. That's not a given. Even with as much money as they have coming in through all of these sources, they're continuing to spend more and more money. And as Troy Dannon said a couple of weeks ago, the biggest future drain on their revenue, their biggest expense, is going to be player compensation. And it's not at this point, that's only going up and up and up. So I think that from Nebraska's point of view and all the decisions they make, whether it's ticket policies or stadium expansion, it's just about trying to make more money so that they can keep up with. They're not in a place certainly where you can say everything is perfect, we're making plenty of money. They see lots of reasons that they need to continue to find ways to be creative and make more, just so they can keep up with the Ohio States and Michigans and Penn States and USCs of the world.
What if they all banded together and said no more money? Everybody all came together and said we're all very happy with where we're at right now.
What world are you living in here?
We have asked a lot of off the wall questions this morning, admittedly, and this
I love
is just
your topic about 8-4 versus 6-6. By the way, that's definitely going to have to be stolen and recycled somewhere else.
Do you have thoughts on that?
Interesting.
I was like talking out loud to myself in my car as I was listening to that one, trying to hash it out. I think that at this place that Nebraska football's in, you have to take the 8-4, just because that would be such a step up from what's happened in recent years. I mean, you plop that down in a different spot in history, maybe like, I don't know, 2014 or whatever, where you were accustomed to going 8-4. it's a different conversation. But right now, give me I think the answer would be give me 8 wins. And I don't really care how it looks at this point. Yes, you care how it looks, but if the alternative is 6-6, no matter what, I think you got to go with the higher win total.
I want to jump back to the athletic department thing because there's something I've been wondering a while, because when NIL first sort of came to be within the rev share, there was this sort of thought that you can't be good at everything. And yet Nebraska has sort of managed to be viable in a lot of different sports.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't had to kind of pick and choose or decide like, all right, we're not really going to put any revenue towards this. Are you surprised that they've been able to sort of maintain that and actually maybe even thrive a little bit in this environment?
A little, yeah. Yeah, when you put it that way, a little bit. Yes. And I don't know that it's realistic to think that that's just like forever going to be in place. Some of that is not about money. Some of it is, but some of it's not about money. Like the softball team is not 43-6 this year because they are funded well and it helps, but that's not the reason that they come back from 4-1 down against Penn State with the Big Ten championship on the line in the 6th inning. Like they have something going with chemistry and senior leadership and all of that. And I think that other programs in the department are benefiting from some of that. In some years that's going to be great. In other years it's not going to be as good. The money helps. Like the money puts you in a position where if you do have all of the other stuff clicking, like it should work. But yeah, they're not. I wouldn't get used to, Sweet 16, regional hosts. That's things have come together nicely for Nebraska athletics this year. I think they can continue to expect to have a lot of success as long as they have good people in coaching positions and leadership positions, and the money absolutely is a factor in that. So it's there, like it's in the conversation with everything, but it's not like if you were to assign percentages of importance to the fact that Nebraska is enjoying the riches of the Big Ten, like in some of these non-revenue sports or smaller budgeted sports, it's like 50% of the reason, 60% of the reason.
And that's why we have blame pie charts
Blame
eventually
pie chart.
when we will. All right, Mitch. Thanks as always. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Let's take a break. I have a bad idea that is not my idea. It's other people's ideas. I'm all out of bad ideas today, so I have to share someone else's.
Okay.
After this on 1620 The Zone. Yesterday, from Kendall Rogers of D1 Baseball, he says scoop, which means he has scoop to share with us. The NCAA Baseball Rules Committee has approved the SEC's proposal to use experimental ABS challenges in the upcoming conference tournament. I'm told coaches will have 3 specific ABS challenges per game in Hoover for the SEC baseball tournament. So 3 ABS challenges, meaning if you win the challenge, you get to keep it.
Yep.
You get a bonus challenge, an extra innings if you don't have any left. Only a pitcher, catcher, or hitter can request an ABS challenge, and you have to do it in the general immediacy of after the pitch is thrown within 2 to 3 seconds. Usually, untimely challenges will not be granted. Basically, just how it is at the major league and minor league level. And the reason why this is a bad idea, as I told you before, is that I don't know that you guys have noticed this, but the strike zone gets a little bit extended in college baseball games.
Oh, yeah.
And I will also add this. There is a reason for that. College baseball pitchers
Them pitchers ain't accurate.
famously can't throw strikes. Okay. So trust me, I've seen a lot of college baseball games. College baseball pitchers famously can't throw strikes. I wish they would at a higher level. But I can recall very few times out of the times where I have been aggrieved by umpires, which are many, 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 many times over the years. Very few times I feel like the pitcher is getting squeezed, right? Very few times. Almost every time I feel like, every time I disagree with the ball strike call, it's like, excuse me, that was in the other batter's box. This has to end somewhere. And ABS will define the strike zone as it is defined, which is the plate, which is a horrible thing for college baseball.
If you want your games to go faster and less runners to be on.
You can't make the strike zone the actual strike zone. Are you insane?
So I have a random theory. The strike zone in college baseball always seems extended in one specific area
outside,
and it doesn't matter if it's a left-handed batter or a right-handed batter. It's always
off the outside
on a right-handed hitter, inside on a left-handed hitter. It's always that area. That's where I always feel like I see the most. Like, oh, that's a terrible call.
I don't know.
I can't explain why. It's just always that. I don't think they're usually ever high. I don't think it's ever particularly low.
They're terrible.
It's just outside or inside. Outside on a righty, inside on the left.
I can't explain that either. It's quite the phenomenon.
But do you? Am I?
I
nuts?
do. No, I'm with you. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get on right-handed hitters. The zone gets extended on breaking pitches away. I sort of understand that. It's the inside on lefties, which I feel like I've seen a lot more this year in particular.
I think outside on lefties gets going pretty good too, mostly because catchers have the ability to just set up out there and just plant themselves, and they frame it up pretty well and stuff like that. Like, there's still an art to stealing strikes and things of that nature.
I hate that art, but yes, there is an art.
But we'll see how this goes in the SEC. I think John and I even joked about it on a broadcast this year. Like, this is not coming anywhere near college baseball for a long time.
Oh, it'll be there.
Yeah. We'll see how that one goes. It'll change things.
They'll have Coastal Carolina's coach do the presentation to the rest of the coaches. And everybody will be like, we kind of get it.
Yeah. He would be the right representative for it.
He would be.
That's for sure. All right. Speaking of college baseball, we have college baseball both tonight and next Tuesday. Would you like to go to the college baseball game between Creighton and Nebraska, which will not feature ABS?
Yes. Next
Tuesday at Charles Schwab Field in Omaha. Should be a nice night for baseball. Fireworks after the game. Well, we have that opportunity to win a 4-pack for you right now. 402-951-1620. Give us a call on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline and be caller number 4 for ball 4. Ball 4, caller number 4 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline right now. 402-951-1620 wins a 4-pack of tickets to Creighton and Nebraska next Tuesday night at Charles Schwab Field. Good luck. We'll talk to you on the other side. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone. Mike Schaefer is dove headfirst into the athletic Big Ten survey. You're very interested in some of the things that are being said and written about here.
Sometimes there's like this confirmation bias thing in my brain that I enjoy, and watching people just email in their complaints about Tony Petitti has tickled a very, a very nice thing in my brain where I've just enjoyed that. And
I'm telling you, Tone's gonna go and he's gonna do a dunk tank. I think people want to throw stuff at it.
This is a virtual dunk tank, and he's basically drowning.
Look,
we're gonna have to let the water.
Look at how happy you are right now, just reading words about people.
Well, it's nice to know in a sport where it feels like everything is chaos, and you hear a lot of like random opinions or everything else. It's nice to know that you read through here and there's fans of all these different teams, and largely they just want the same thing that I want, which is sort of stability. Things that you can kind of rely on, which I guess goes along with the stability. It's sort of a disinterest in a 2014 playoff. But if that has to happen, then at least the elimination of the conference championship game. There's a whole segment on this about like the viewership experience and, how it does sort of pale compared to the SEC, where you don't really ever know where the best game is going to be on. Any number of network. So I like Scott Docterman, who does great work. Like, I think his Q rating of any non-Nebraska media member feels relatively high, because I think all of the shows like to talk about stuff that he does.
Definitely.
Or have him on.
Well, he
covers the conference at large in a way that nobody else does.
Right. He also covers stuff that matters to Nebraska fans without covering Nebraska.
Right. And so I enjoy his stuff. And so I hadn't seen this when you asked Mitch about it.
Let's call Scott.
I was like, I would be on board.
All right.
We don't have enough guests. Let's get them on Friday.
All of a sudden have a lot of guests.
Yeah. If you like guests, Friday's the day for you.
Well, yeah, we only got 3. I mean, we could definitely add more.
But 2 of them are head coaches.
That is true.
That hasn't happened before.
Which coaches? You'll just have to guess.
That is the question.
You will have to guess.
You have to wait and see.
You have to wait to see the 5:30 tweet.
I am I was encouraged by the things that I read from people as well. We were just like, yeah, this Tone guy, I just like, what doesn't he get about this? We don't really care about how much money you make.
I read out loud about a comment from a Penn State fan that was like, I would be more than happy to see my school take $10 million less if it meant no more Tony Petitti this minute.
I think people have really figured out, and I'm really proud of people in this regard. Like, there was a time where the college sports administrators were trying to basically convince you that they needed to, like, and maybe they still are, like, we need to have the most, like, we need to win the money race. Like,
I think we're still there. That's why I asked Mitch about Nebraska.
Yeah, this is the most important thing. We have to do this. We have to do this. And I think everyone's like, I mean, honestly, I just asked myself a simple question. I was sitting there. I can't remember what I was doing last night. Like, this thought just crossed my head. I was like, when is enough enough? Like, if you have, and I know you're going to put it all back into the athletic department and whatever, and like they're still operating on relatively thin margins the entire time. But we could all agree that it shouldn't cost this much to operate a college football program, a college basketball program, an athletic department as a whole. Like, when is enough enough? And the answer is never, because there will always be somebody out there. This
endeavoring for more.
There will always be somebody out there who's looking for an edge and always trying to do the next thing. And it doesn't matter if everybody signs a pact to say, yeah, sure, we're not exploring any more opportunities to improve our revenue streams or make more money on the athletic department. Somebody will break the pact and somebody will say, actually, just kidding, we are. Screw you guys, So that will never happen. I just don't know where it stops.
We had this conversation as it related to like NIL with Nebraska basketball, or just NIL and Nebraska football in general. And you would kind of remark like, you're more than okay with the fact that Nebraska is never going to be one of the big spenders in these sports. I am too. I was reading a story about Tennessee, who just picked up a big portal commitment from the Wake Forest guy that went in, and the rumor is about $5 or $6 million for that player alone. The expectation is that Tennessee will have a basketball team north of $15 million for its total roster. You think about what Louisville is doing there too, and because I will more than likely never watch a team that I watch all the time have that much money to spend on its basketball roster. I just also think about what a weird viewing experience that would be. I just think you would be angry more often than not, because it's like if your team doesn't achieve a high enough level,
it's a great point.
It's a constant think about how everything went this past year. Like Creighton goes into the tank, and it's just constant conversation about Owen Freeman and how much money he makes.
I don't know how you make it not about that.
I don't know. I don't think there is a way.
I don't know how you take a $15 million basketball roster and make it not make the front page headline not be how much money they make. It's impossible to do that.
Genuinely have no idea. And so they're there. Louisville,
they have to be so incredibly likable and play such a great style of baskell,
but none of them know each other.
You forget about that. Yeah, it's impossible because you don't have the continuity.
They're going to spend all summer trying to figure out who they are. It's going to be, in some ways, if this is a really weird comparison, but you go back to the early days of when LeBron first joined the Heat and you had that group.
Yeah.
They were awful to watch in the sense that they hadn't figured out what their on-court roles and how people would respond to each other and how to play together, despite the fact that they had 3 of probably the 10 best players in the NBA.
It was the worst from a independent viewer. I wanted to see a world where in the fantasy world where those 3 worked together. And the problem was like you said, it wasn't always pretty, but they always still won, which was the worst part. They had, how many
other than the greatest NBA finals of 2011, where Dirk Nowitzki as one man stood up.
But how many games they went? Didn't they go on a super long winning streak?
But they started really ugly, I think.
Right.
They lost more games at the beginning than you would expect.
And
then they won 20 in a row.
It just felt like they were winning just because they had more talent.
But they weren't the 1 seed that year.
Right.
Matt's Bulls and Derrick Rose were. I don't even know if they were the 2. They might have been the 3.
2011, right?
Yeah.
They were the 2 seed because the 1 seed was the Bulls, and then Derrick Rose got hurt that season. The Heat faced the Celtics in the conference finals, if I remember right.
Number 1 seed was the 62-20 Chicago Bulls.
They lost to the Sixers.
I thought for sure that it was Bulls versus Heat and the Heat just
the Bulls Heat was the East
it was a 5-game final.
Yes, it was a 5-game East final.
Because LeBron just locked up Derrick Rose, and that was the end of Derrick Rose as a viable MVP.
Yeah, the next year was Rose's in.
Yep, and then it all went downhill from there.
Ouch.
Yeah, you're right.
Meanwhile, the Mavs just steamrolled their way through that playoff.
They were a 3 seed, I think.
That was great. And so this is a great example
Genuinely
of that.
one of my favorite playoff experiences ever as someone who didn't have a vested interest in rooting
for
Dirk
teams. Had been there forever.
I love Dirk,
They
so
had
that was
spent
part of it.
years just kind of cultivating
He's number 11
the team.
on my list of Twitter people that I follow.
Dirk was really high.
And old man Jason Kidd
they
on that
just
team.
kind of spent years kind of figuring it out and plotting through it, but one guy always stayed the same. It's that group is really, really likable.
Yeah.
So back to the college point, and like we said, there's just no way that you could look at these teams who are going to have $15 million rosters, who these guys don't know each other. They don't have any familiarity. They're still trying to figure it out.
You're never going to be willing to let things sort of organically happen.
No.
And that sucks.
I know.
It's basically what
Nebraska did this year, even though they had transfer portal pieces. You could probably look at that as the last bastion of.
I hope not. In a perfect world, what I want is for you to be able to kind of still have a few guys that you're developing over time and then other pieces that you're supplementing around it. I think that has to be the route for Nebraska. They have to figure out how to be able to do that with the limited funding that they have.
Yeah. Well, they used all their funding on retention this year.
Not all of it, but the bulk of it.
A lot of it. Frankly, I know people aren't looking for positivity from a football standpoint right now. Football did the same thing.
Right.
They used all their money for retention.
And I think they had 1 or 2 big swings that didn't come through for them.
Yeah.
But and you could argue, especially if Calandria ends up being a 2-year player, that might have been as important as any. Not getting Kenny Minchie, if this works for Matt Rule, would it be one of those sort of whoa, depending on how that all goes.
Sliding doors moment.
Yeah, because I don't know. Maybe Kenny Minchie would have worked too, but the style of which they were going to play, I think, would be a little different.
Oh yeah, would have been a little bit more of a crock pot, probably.
Yeah, a lot less sort of drawed up in the dirt. With
how would you describe what would you parallel Anthony Calandria and Nebraska's offense to as a food?
As a food?
Yeah.
Okay.
If the Kenny Minchie era was going to be like a crock pot.
So it's got to have something that has a
pot
very dominant flavor in it.
Something that really just
it has to pop.
Pops.
Yeah. Because it's not like a bake. It's not like you're throwing a bunch of things in and having it come out.
No, it's not slow. It's not creamy.
So I'm now trying to think of things that have like a really strong taste.
It's got to have a spice on
something crunchy and spicy.
Crunchy and spicy.
Maybe it's a taco. Maybe it's like a really good taco.
Could be a taco.
402-951-1620. Oh yeah, with the sauce.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like an enchilada of a really strong salsa.
Yeah, but like maybe the salsa's too strong.
And the shell is crunchier. You baked it a little hard.
Oh yeah, with the cheese outside.
Yeah.
You roll it up in the cheese.
Okay. Nebraska's offense is an enchilada.
They were going to be a crock pot. It was a very
Verde salsa, or what salsa are you putting on your
just
enchilada?
like the spiciest, most overbearing salsa you can find.
How does Dana Holgerson fit into this?
I'm not sure.
He's using a recipe from 2011.
I want to see
Holgerson's usually the sour cream.
I want to see Dana Holgerson in a chef hat before the show ends.
Joey,
yeah, you're on.
This one's up to you. By the way, we have our power rankings with tiers coming up in just a moment. We've saved it until this moment. We won't talk to Padilla today. By the way, texter Jesse writes in chimichanga.
Okay.
Nebraska's offense is a chimichanga.
I was also thinking it could be like a big sandwich, but there's something in there where it's like you have like a cheese that just overpowers everything. That could be potentially what it is.
Like the wrong kind of cheese.
Like a Harvardi or something.
This is the wrong cheese. With the right cheese, it would have been perfect. Jan says Calandria is a hot dog launched into the crowd from the hot dog gun.
I don't know why. I mean,
sure.
I guess it could work.
I could see that. I could see a world where that exists. All right. Power rankings with tiers is coming up on the other side. I do want to mention this. This was, now we've talked about this on the show. I don't know when or where this actually got announced, but just so you guys know, Creighton and Iowa are going to play each other in basketball this year. That has a date, according to
in Des Moines.
Yes, in Des Moines.
We talked about it on the
Sunday.
Yes, Sunday, November 15th, according to some folks out of Iowa. So, for the record, Creighton now has a Nebraska game at home, a Gonzaga game at home, an Iowa neutral site game in Des Moines, 2.5 hours away, a game at K-State, a super mega NIL tournament players era in Las Vegas. And I would imagine that's pretty much it. They also have an exhibition against Iowa State this year, but it's on the road. I would imagine that's kind of it. And you're going to fill in the rest with bye games now. But that's pretty hefty.
Who do we think that they're consulting to see which bye game team that like all three of Nebraska, Omaha, and Creighton could play just in a run?
Oh, they'll have to. Yeah, I'm sure,
Hey, South Carolina Upstate, how you feeling about spending a week up here?
Pick a number one between 1 and
312.
312. The number 312 KenPom team to end last year was Evansville. Perfect.
That's perfect.
Evansville is making the trip. It's going to be Omaha. It's going to be Lincoln and Omaha.
Like Nebraska never plays Valley teams. I'd actually kind of be interested in this.
Yeah. They did like a little Western Illinois swing, didn't they?
Yeah, and then they stopped when they lost.
That is true.
Thanks, Verge.
Got Belmont, Bradley, Illinois State. Maybe Belmont will get on there this year with the Orm.
Orm.
Yeah, Orm revenge game.
I don't know if Orm wants to be part of that.
So yeah, somebody should play
Utah Valley. I'll accept.
Evansville is actually perfect. Evansville is a great selection by you.
Thank you.
Bring Evansville to Omaha and Lincoln.
Should make this our entire campaign for the month of May.
We're just attracting,
at least until summer starts on
attracting
May 18th.
A variety of different low major teams to come play both of the high major teams in the state.
I like it.
And then if you want, you can play Omaha too.
Yeah.
All right. Our power rankings with tiers. What's our power rankings with tiers subject today? It is places we want to visit. I can't wait to see where
Of
this
which
goes.
there are many. I have a lot on here.
I think you'll like my list.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think we're going to go in very different directions.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, we got so locked into a fascinating Husker football discussion earlier that we just blew right through power rankings with tears at 7:30. So I apologize for the inconsistency.
Well, thank Jacob Padilla for giving us plenty of time to revisit the power rankings.
Of course, and I hope his headache is better. He said it's like I gotta
Dealing with one of those sinus headaches.
I don't know.
It's probably a migraine.
I didn't ask for specifics.
Sounds
I
awful.
heard migraine. I was like,
Oh yeah, hard pass.
Those are not fun.
I'm out. So, Padilla is not coming on today, but we do have power rankings with tiers, places we want to visit. Now, I don't know if I've been like, you have to square this up with the context of everybody else, I suppose. I don't think that I've been to like a lot of places. I certainly have not been to hardly any international places, with the exception of like a dip of the toe into the water of Canada on a road trip several years ago. That's it. I'm in anywhere. I want to go a lot of places. There's probably many that I'm forgetting about.
Sure.
But
My sister's making me jealous with all the places she's been traveling lately.
Going a little bit everywhere.
Yeah, she was all over Europe just a couple months
She's probably
ago.
been to most of the places I'll have on this list.
Well, Schaefer?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
All right. So what do you got?
So my top tier, this is absolute bucket list places I hope to get to before I meet my demise. 3 of them. New Zealand, number 1 on my list.
New
It's been
Zealand.
number 1 on my list for about, I don't know, more than a decade. Number 2 on that list. So I've had like a Bill Moose list in the drawer of 5 places I absolutely want to visit at all times. I've basically had this. New Zealand's been number 1 for as long as I can remember. I have a old college roommate that has now lived there since 2017. So I'd love to go visit him. I have all the reason in the world to go now. Will I get there? No idea. Having a child has not helped in that regard. No. Number 2 on this list probably would be surprising to some people, but I think the country just looks absolutely gorgeous. Chile.
Oh, Chile.
Send me down to Chile.
Send Mike Schaefer to Chile.
And it has everything down there in terms of you get your urban environment, but you have mountain ranges, you have the beaches, you have all of it. It looks gorgeous.
So one of the questions, the big ones that we could answer here is, what do you want out of a vacation? What are you trying to accomplish? Yes, you're relaxing and you're exploring new things, but what are the bullet points that you really have to hit? For me, if there's something that draws me to a place more than anything else, it's food.
Sure.
It's food.
My general assumption, aside from maybe a few of these places, particularly when we get to tier number 4, the food is going to be probably good wherever I end up going.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then the last one in this top tier, which Joey's sister is honeymooning, Japan. Would love to go to Japan.
Japan is on my list
fun.
somewhere. Japan is on my list
somewhere.
Yeah, but
did you list places you don't want to go? I thought about doing a pass, and it was just going to be Orlando.
I kind of
specifically International Boulevard.
I have an interesting tier on here that we'll tell you about a little bit later. So my first tier is a lot like yours. Absolute dream, probably will never happen.
Yeah.
I only have 2 places on here. Australia.
Okay.
So you and I, New Zealand, Australia, kind of a similar deal there. And then literally anywhere in Italy just to eat food. That's really it. Like,
they're the top of my next tier.
Eat some lasagna.
I don't know much about, like my parents just went there a couple of years ago. They did like the entire country in a span of 6 days. I don't know that I would want to do that like that. I'm not sure how I would approach it.
I would need to split it up.
I would probably just like crash in a city or a region for a few days and just like try to relax, but eat as much food as I possibly could and walk like 600
You just
miles.
want all the antipasta.
That's all I want. I just want pasta and beer,
Lots of beer.
beverages of some sort.
So my thing with Italy is there's 2 different aspects of it. There's all of the food and the culture, and then I just want to spend time in Rome and specifically the Vatican City.
Yeah.
And so
that sounds awesome.
So much time there that it wouldn't leave me enough time to do anything in the other cool parts of Italy. That would be my concern. That's always the concern with traveling. I went to Iceland for 2 weeks and it could have been 2 months and it wouldn't have been enough.
You almost have to go more than once for sure.
And Iceland is one of the smallest countries in the world.
By the way, John, after I asked the big picture question of what do you want out of this, John writes in, the vacations are for sitting on a beach and hammering drinks all day. For some people, it is. Yeah. For me, it's not. I'm anti-beach because of the way I am.
I like that a little bit. I don't want it a lot of bit.
You like to explore the cultures.
I want variation within it. I want that for a day, and then I want to go mess around in a, rainforest.
A little bit of this, little bit of that. By the way, we're already getting some good comments here. Here's Ryan in Delaware. Don't go to China. Their pizza doesn't have pizza sauce. They use ketchup. I can't. Is that true?
That sounds bizarre.
Seems slanderous.
I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's worse, that or California Pizza Kitchen.
All right.
Jeez.
All right.
All right. Next tier for
Tier
me.
2.
Would love to if it happens. These all feel like things that could potentially happen. One of them definitely not, but we'll see. Italy right here, number 4. So a few years ago when flights had bottomed out during COVID, I actually bought a ticket to go to this country and had plans to go, and then civil unrest and COVID prevented me from actually going.
Classic civil unrest.
Morocco.
All right.
I would love to go to Morocco.
My folks has been over there.
Absolutely gorgeous, wide range of places to go to. You have your coastal side and then the freaking desert. Like Morocco.
I never thought about Morocco before.
Amazing. Well, yeah, I was all, set to go and did not end up happening. Malaysia, another gorgeous looking country.
What are you thinking about?
Fiji. Okay. When the World Cup or world events are going on and I just happen to have a computer or my phone and it's during a commercial,
you spend a lot of time on
Google
Wikipedia.
Image search of these countries. There are so many amazing countries that no one would ever think to go to.
There's definitely a lot of amazing places on planet Earth.
All right. Where else? Malaysia, then Fiji. And then this last one I could have went to when I was in Iceland, but we just didn't want to pony up the money for a one-day flight. I kind of want to go to Greenland. I had a few friends that went this past summer. I was very jealous.
Have you heard that Greenland is ice and Iceland is green?
Yes, I have. Many times. many times.
Just want to make sure you heard that before. Right.
I am familiar.
Okay. So my second tier is technically named the same, basically, but it is a completely different thing.
All right.
So this is called top of the list and attainable. All right.
Okay, yeah.
So these are attainable, and I would be excited to go any of these places. You'll notice the trend and why they're different. Seattle. I want to go to Seattle. Yeah. I watched the Royals sweep a series in Seattle this weekend.
North America list.
I want to go to Seattle. Why have I not been there? I don't know. It looks perfect. San Diego.
Also on my, so we have two of the same spots in North America.
We have both never been to these cities?
Never been to either of these cities.
Wow,
I've been to that city.
Sounds like we need to do our show in these cities.
This is one.
Send us on the road.
That you have been to, and that I think is attainable. The entire state of Maine.
Oh,
Maine's beautiful.
I would like to go to Maine.
I want to go back to Maine. So bad.
It is beautiful.
And really, once again, all I want to do is eat seafood.
All the lobster.
Go to Becky's Diner in Portland, Maine.
Do they have seafood?
Yeah, they do. It's
perfect.
They're known for their lobster rolls.
Perfect.
Really good.
That's exactly what I'm shooting for. There you go. Top of the list and attainable. Seattle, San Diego, and then the state of Maine.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go third?
Sure. This one is called Have Always Thought It Would Be Fun. All right. Once again, I didn't go quite as I was thinking about some countries that I would like. I'm sure I would go to anywhere.
I would go anywhere.
I would go anywhere.
You're the same way.
Right. But I don't know. Thought of these last night. Have always thought it would be fun. The state of Montana.
Amazing.
I'd like to go to the state of Montana. Or it would be fun. It could be fun to go to the state of Montana. Cape Cod. I'd like to go to Cape Cod. I think I have a connection.
Martha's Vineyard. Do you want to go to Martha's Vineyard?
That works too. Anything like, Atlantic coast. San Antonio. I want to go to San Antonio.
You want to see the Alamo?
All of these places that I love that you have not been to.
I've never been. Yeah.
San Antonio is awesome.
But like I said, I think I've been to places. Like I'm decently well-traveled in America, but I guess, I don't know, maybe certainly West. I've hardly been anywhere West. And then Hawaii.
Yeah.
I've never been to
there
Hawaii.
too.
Been to Honolulu.
Yep. I put Maui, but Hawaii just in general. So my third, I broke up an entire continent into two different things. It's more exciting Europe Like I'd be much more excited to go to these countries.
Okay.
And then what will follow is going to be less exciting Europe. And so more exciting Europe features Norway, which really high on the list. I think it's obtainable, very expensive, but Norway looks absolutely gorgeous with that. Switzerland, Denmark, Croatia. Have you ever looked at the country of Croatia?
Yeah, Lanny went to Croatia.
Gorgeous.
And I was like, what are you doing in Croatia? And he was like, it's really cheap and awesome. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool.
So when I was in Iceland, I met this bartender, and he was telling us that he spends half of his year living in Iceland as a bartender, where he makes enough money to spend the other half of the year living in Croatia, where he doesn't work and just lives on the beach.
What the hell? How much
Because
money did bartenders make in
He's
Iceland?
telling us, he's like, the next trip you go on needs to be Croatia because you will not spend that much money.
Yeah, that was the main selling point. Yeah.
And so, and then in here, Ireland, Scotland, Spain. These are all great European countries. Less exciting Europe. I think Germany would be cool. I wouldn't be all that fired up about Germany, France, or England. These are things that I feel like I could get to at some point.
Yeah, that would be on
They're not like everything else I want to be younger for, I think.
So I think
these are like I'm old and I'm traveling overseas.
Those would be cities that would probably go on my fourth tier, which is called, oh, I guess that would be pretty cool. Why not?
Paris, Berlin, and London.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'll go to those places. I don't really feel a pull to them, but I'll go to those places. So add those onto these 4 entities. Salt Lake City.
Oh man,
Hey, rid of Salt Lake. That'd be cool. Why not? I go to Salt Lake City. The entire
Can I
state.
talk you to Provo? Can we get a Nebraska BYU or Creighton BYU and we go to Provo?
Absolutely.
That would be fun.
Absolutely.
Looks gorgeous.
The entire state of Oregon,
Great state.
which is very
Portland
feasible,
is
I think.
fantastic.
Now,
Eugene.
these last 2 are a little off the wall. Extremely French Canada.
Yes.
Like somewhere
Quebec.
where they do
You'll appreciate this.
Quebec, but like
Quebec, New Brunswick.
Montreal.
extremely French Canada.
Yeah.
And then Japan.
Yeah.
Just put me in Japan.
Put you in Japan.
Why not? Do you think I think I'd do some pretty good stuff in Japan?
What would you be doing in Japan?
I'd be just eating a bunch of food.
You'd be touristing in Japan.
You'll be
That would
hanging,
amazing.
You'll be hanging around those vending machines.
I'd be trying to ask people stuff and they wouldn't understand what I would say. And
Would you go to a cowboy bar in Japan?
no, I wouldn't go to anything American in Japan.
Well, no. So a cowboy bar in Japan, like the cowboy is this huge figure in Western culture like Japanese people will go out on a Friday to what's called a cowboy bar, and it's where everyone dresses up as what they think cowboys are in America.
What do they think?
Well, they like it's just based off of the John
Sure.
Wayne and all of it.
No, I would not go there
To me, that sounds amazing.
because you want to be the most popular guy at the bar and be
Well,
like,
yeah,
wow, there's
I
an
would be
actual
like, "Hey, I'm
cowboy
from
here.
Nebraska," and they'd be like, "Well, this must be a real cowboy." And it's like, no, I fell off the only horse I attempted to ride. I broke my foot. It was terrible. It ruined my summer.
But I've been near horses a lot.
They're terrible.
My grandparents had a farm. Ask me anything.
That's
I'm
pretty cool.
asking my sister if she's making a trek to one of those bars.
You're like, cowboy
Okay.
bar.
It's 11:30 over there, so I don't
There
think
you go.
I'm going to get an answer.
Spots in North America. My last tier, Montreal, Quebec City. Very much want to do that. Mexico City, I've not been to. I think that would be awesome, assuming there's not a man on fire situation there. Vancouver, would love to go to Vancouver. Toronto, and then Seattle, San Diego, Maui, and Anchorage. Those are probably the last American cities. Philadelphia, I haven't been to either.
We have very similar lists.
Yeah, we
Just
do.
don't tell them you're a Vikings
The
fan.
places that you haven't been to in the U.S. that I have been to, all of them are great. You need
Awesome.
you need to make all of them priority.
So I could sniff out a good city. That's
you
what you're
should do
saying.
a driving trip that includes Idaho and Montana because that was awesome.
It's just so far.
It is,
And there's
but
so
you
much
like
nothing.
to drive.
I do like to drive.
I think you'll appreciate the nothing. It's like quiet Vegas with nothing, and plenty of casinos that you can hit along.
I mean,
the
that's
way.
true. I do love quiet.
You could visit the town that hosted Napoleon Dynamite.
So when you drive those, there traffic on the roads? Or is there
Occasionally.
people on the
there-
road? We don't need any of that.
There was stretches of Idaho to Montana where we felt like the only car in a national forest with no cell service.
You're starting
We
to
were
sell me
like-
now.
You're like, well, if something bad happens, no one's going to find us. But also, this is pretty delightful.
that southeastern part of Idaho gets busy around the summertime because the Yellowstone's in the area.
Pedro writes in, "Hi guys, I had a friend that went to Japan and he was like 6'2", 220, and he said people out there would take his picture because he was so big."
Yeah, just being tall will get you.
It's like you and if you went to New York.
I've been to New York. I'm not that tall in New York.
You're huge in New York
compared to like the people that originate there that are all 5'7" somehow.
I know. This is always such a fun phenomenon.
I saw some clip online, and it was this woman talking about how she was trying to date in the city, like New York City, and she's like 5'8", and she's like, everyone's short. And I'm like, you're 5'8", you're not even tall.
It's true.
You're 5'8", like that's not that tall.
No, person who like is a below average size person here, go out there, they're a giant monster.
Yeah, walk around like I'm Godzilla over there.
Exactly. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We have our bracket sim, and we'll get you out of here on a Tuesday. Happer Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. Creighton baseball tonight at home against the Kansas Jayhawks. You can watch that game on Nebraska Public Media, I believe featuring John Bishop. You can listen to that. I don't know who his partner is tonight. You can listen on Yacht Rock 1180 tonight. So we'll interrupt your Doobie Brothers to bring you Creighton baseball against Kansas. We being me and Gary Sharp.
Look at that.
Bringing you baseball tonight on Yacht Rock 1180. Rematch of the regional opener last year. All of a sudden, Kansas is the wagon. They lead the Big 12 by 4 games.
They're really good. They're a very good baseball team.
They are almost certainly going to be a regional host, it feels like, at this point. So there you go. They're in town tonight. And, of course, one more Tuesday midweek next week against Nebraska for Creighton, and then a weekend series against Georgetown. So 5 games in 8 days here coming up starting tonight. To our bracket sim of the day. Oh, look at this. Creighton is back in the bracket, in the current bracket from pairratings.com. Nebraska is the number 2 seed in the Norman, Oklahoma region.
Gross.
Norman, the number 6, or Oklahoma, the number 16 national seed. Creighton headed to Tuscaloosa to take on the Tide, Wake Forest, and Cal Baptist, which I feel like that combo has happened a couple times.
Creighton, Alabama, a rivalry.
That's
renewed.
right. Creighton, Alabama. Yes, that would be actually. I want this a lot now. That sounds awesome.
Honk.
Simulate. Oklahoma wins the Norman Regional and then beats UCLA in the Super, by the way. Creighton does not get out of Tuscaloosa, but Cal Baptist does. So the Connor World Series is intact. Oklahoma, Auburn, Florida State, A&M, Georgia Tech, Kansas, North Carolina, West Virginia. Big 12's a little down this year. And you got KU and West Virginia who are both going in there. They play each other this weekend, by the way, in Lawrence.
So I ran the second sim.
The projected sim?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you got?
This is a College World Series, Nebraska to Omaha.
Why do you keep getting that? It knows that you want this.
It does. It has Nebraska obviously getting out of Norman, but they take on Virginia, who they beat in a super regional. They don't get to host a regional, but they get to host a super.
How would Troy Dannon do tickets?
Wow. He'd probably just give them out only to the top donors and then bar anyone else from entering. You have to pay $1 billion.
You must spend $8,500 on the football team. Thank you.
This
is now enter.
The rest of it looks like. It would be Nebraska, Georgia Tech, Miami, Kansas, Mississippi State, TCU, USC, Texas.
What I'm looking at right now on your screen is a Nebraska-Miami first round opener in the College World Series.
That would be fun.
Let's see. Georgia Tech, KU. Is that Texas?
That's Texas and TCU.
Texas and TCU.
Yeah.
And USC. And
USC keeps reaching the CWS, and I can't get out the fact that Nebraska just steamrolled them. Like it's just hard for me to imagine them getting there.
Well, I remember the take after that weekend was like, USC might be. I mean, because they kicked the ball around, they were not pretty that weekend.
But maybe it was too cold. Maybe the warm weather will welcome them back in.
And then how do you square that up with what Nebraska laid this past weekend?
Yeah, they looked worse, arguably, to Ohio State than probably USC did.
Definitely
to Nebraska,
definitely,
considering the situation for all of it. So, yeah, I don't know, but a College World Series.
What do they say, Schaefer, in the tournament? It's all about matchups.
It is.
And it's all about if you have a pitcher who's capable of throwing 172 pitches at a 3-day span.
And those 172 pitches are good.
Yeah. I mean, chances are if you got a guy throwing 172 pitches at a 3-day span, he's going to be pretty good. Like if you got that guy and he could throw them straight down the middle, and just blow them by people. Theo writes in, is it true that there's a radio host home run derby at the College World Series this year?
No.
I don't believe so.
I think he's manifested.
Haven't heard.
It's certainly possible.
All right, so we're doing the projected now.
I thought, yeah, or we could do one projected bracket. Let's
Nebraska hosts in a projected.
Nebraska hosts in a projected bracket. Yeah.
Creighton in a projected in the Tallahassee.
Let's run it. Nebraska doesn't get out of their own regional, and neither does Creighton.
Sad.
Yep.
What about you?
Here.
Okay.
Same exact thing.
Connor World Series, UCLA, Georgia, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Georgia Tech, Oregon State, Arizona State, and Texas. That is a classic College World Series field. I don't mind that.
UCLA, Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Georgia Tech, Coastal Carolina, North Carolina, Texas.
Also a classic College World Series field. I have a UCLA national championship against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech keeps showing up in the national championship game. They're loving themselves.
I don't think I've ever. No, one time I had Georgia Tech versus Georgia, I think, in the national.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
I get Texas a lot.
Yeah, interesting.
A lot.
Interesting. Well, still got a couple weeks left. The brackets will change after tonight, yet again, after another round of midweek games. Although the midweek games are disappearing rapidly, watch out. You too could get midweek massaged, RPI massaged right out of the schedule.
Wonder what the real life application of that would be. Like you get taken out of your golf league because you're, like they need somebody better, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Like you're the fourth guy in your group, and you're like, all right, just replace slow pitch softball. Like instead of having the ninth guy play catcher and get out every single time,
they go get somebody.
He's going to mysteriously get sick for the night, and some other random guy.
We have Daniel Bruce coming into play.
Yeah,
which has happened for me before. Lincoln Arneal and I played.
Did you get RPI? Did you get RPI massage for Daniel Bruce?
I played softball with Daniel Bruce.
Okay, all right, good.
He hit a home run, then scaled the fence and went and got it.
I would imagine
it was great.
I would imagine so. All right, that is going to do it for us today. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Crossover with Matt is coming up next.